Good afternoon and welcome to Will Bratton WX. We are jumping right into things immediately today because we do have a PDS tornado warning underway in Unionville, Missouri. This is right on the northern border of Missouri in Iowa here, as we actually do have, in just a second here, I'll show you. We do have Midwest weather. Our newest signed storm chaser is actually out there. Alan Geiger is out there right now. And he was on this storm just moments ago. We had a good visual on it just a moment ago. We are going to continue to monitor him as well, but you can see a very significant velocity couplet here. Give me just 1 second to get my bearings together. Yeah, you can see we've got a very significant, I don't like this color right now, a very significant velocity couplet here right over the town of Unionville. At this point, we have confirmation that we have a large tornado, or at least a dangerous tornado, I should say, on the ground via the National Weather Service. So this is a PDS tornado warning here. So a particularly dangerous situation issued by the National Weather Service. That is depicted by this purple polygon or the magenta polygon that you see on the map here. So if you are in that region near Unionville and eventually towards Livonia or towards Cincinnati or X-Line into Iowa, just across the border, definitely make sure that you are in some sort of a secure storm shelter at this point, as this is not one that you want to play around with. We're going to go ahead and try to go full screen here on with Midwest weather. I'm going to go ahead and turn his audio on as well. And there's Alan that we can hear from right now. Things are a little bit laggy at the moment, but that's okay. We're going to continue to watch him as he is on this PDS tornado warning. Other warnings around the map, we do have a few other tornado warnings underway in parts of southern Iowa and northwestern and north central Missouri. All of the previous tornado warnings that were in Iowa and Illinois with some of the earlier convection are now expired. Everything that we have is congealed throughout the region surrounding southern Iowa and northern Missouri here. We do have a total of 6 tornado warnings and 1 PDS tornado warning on the map at this current moment. And we're going to continue to watch Alan here. You guys should be able to hear Alan right now. If you can't, let me know. Yeah, as Alan is continuing to stay ahead of this thing. It looks like the tornado potentially has lifted from what I'm hearing from Alan. I'm not sure if you guys can hear Alan. Please let me know in the chat if you can or cannot. But we're trying to get things things rolling here. Yeah, Alan, right in the midst of this PDS tornado warning. In fact, I would imagine if I go ahead and turn on spotter dots here, we're probably going to see him. See if I can find him really quick before I. There he is. Yeah. So he's currently, I know you guys can't see this, but he is just south of this velocity couplet right now. And he is headed eastbound, trying to get ahead of this thing as the rotation's kind of right on his butt here. So Alan is a good storm chaser. He's going to make intelligent decisions. I'm not too terribly concerned about him, but I just hope that he can stay out ahead of this thing here. At least for the time being, it does seem to be recycling. So that is good. He's talking about rotation right up above. But look at that. Just an unbelievable shelf cloud. Wow. That is just insane. Wow. Oh my goodness. Look at that wall cloud. You could see moments ago where he was panning around. You could see the shelf. Yeah, there you go. You can see a little bit of that anviling going out above him as well. But my goodness, that was one heck of a wall cloud we had a brief view of there. Alan is talking about this storm being extremely strong right now, saying those in Unionville need to be getting into shelter. We do have tornado warnings impacting other counties in Missouri. That includes Davies, DeKalb, Gentry, Harrison, Mercer, Putnam. That's where our PDS tornado warning is. And then we also have Sullivan, Grundy, Livingston. And then in Iowa, we have Decatur, Lucas, Wayne, Appanoose, Lucas, Monroe, and Wayne again counties all in tornado warnings as well. Sounds like the connection's a little bit spotty here with Alan, but we're trying to keep a good hold of him here. He's used the word violent in describing this tornado, so it's definitely possible that we were looking at a very strong tornado just moments ago that is recycling near Unionville, Missouri. So again, if you're in Unionville, Missouri, we're gonna have a visual on this tornado in just a minute here as Alan is trying to reposition safely. I'm gonna go ahead and transition. Let's see, go back to. Um, Give me just a moment here as I play around with this. There's the button. I'm going to exit full screen for just a second. You can still see Alan down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. I can go ahead and turn on spotter network dots here, and you can see, where'd he go? Yeah, there he is. There's Alan right there, literally in town at Unionville right now. And here's that velocity couplet. So I believe he's going to try and punch. He was going to his west. I assume he's going to try and punch north and stay right behind this thing. And stay south of it, which is the safe thing to do. You can see other chasers are on this supercell as well out here in northern Missouri. Again, we are near Unionville. Of course, there is going to be a little bit of urgency in my voice here today, as we do in fact have a tornado, a PDS tornado warning, and had a strong tornado on the ground just moments ago. Out here in northern Missouri. I'll take another little bit of a wider look around the map here as Alan continues to reposition. We do have numerous other areas of rotation marked by tornado warnings. One here just northwest of Newtown. Let's see. We've got another one here near Jamesport, another one near Pattonsburg, another one developing near Weatherby as well, though it's not tornado warned at this time. Give me just a moment here, play around with my radars and see if I can get a better angle on this cell. Yeah, and Weatherby, not terribly concerned at the moment, but this Unionville one, top to bottom, is looking pretty impressive. So we do know that this storm had just put down a decently significant tornado just moments ago. Alan had a visual on that, unfortunately, right before we were able to get live. We did just see on his feed, which has kind of cut out for us a little bit here. We saw on his feed that we did have a very, very strong, quickly rotating wall cloud, a lowering that was pretty close to the surface. Other tornado warnings, we do have a slightly more broad area of rotation. Looks like this one is dissipating a little bit from a previously confirmed tornado near Millerton. And eventually it came out of Garden Grove as well. This is in southern Iowa. That one looks to be weakening, which is a good sign here. So that is our last tornado warning in Iowa for the current moment, at least. And that one appears to be weakening as it is having a lot of influence with some of this congested precipitation around it. So that's going to go ahead and weaken it and limit its abilities. But the PDS tornado warning in Unionville, my goodness, this thing just looks unbelievable right now. Yeah, this thing just looks insane. The Unionville storm, this is the one we are going to keep the closest eye on right now. Is it looks like we may have a little bit of a visual from Alan here. I'm going to go ahead and full screen him again. We've got his audio on. Things are a little bit grainy, but there's Alan down there. Alan's out here saying that this thing is spinning quickly. It looks like it's about to put down a tornado. So we could have a visual on the storm any minute here near just north of Unionville, Missouri. Oh, yeah. It's a little bit difficult to see as things are a little bit grainy here, but there is most certainly a pretty significant rotating updraft with this storm. I mean, we can see that. It's obvious on radar. It's clear as day. Alan's connection is a little bit spotty here. He's saying that he thinks this is going to put down a tornado within moments here. You can see, my goodness, yeah, you can see that lowering on the left-hand side of your screen, that little lowering there. That is a pretty significant concern here. Again, this is a PDS tornado warning where we have Alan with Midwest weather out here on this storm. One of our first signed storm chasers. He's out there right now with we've got Brandon back in the studio and Mason on that team as well. But here's Alan right here. I'm not sure if he's going south or north at this point. I'm going to assume north, as he was down a little bit further south here just moments ago, but he is right on this storm. Alan is uh yeah, very, very consistent in talking about the fact that this is a very strong storm here. This should go without saying when you have a PDS tornado warning, but you need to be in the most sheltered type of place you can possibly be if you're in the path of this storm. If you're in Unionville, or especially just northeast of town, if you're near Livonia, or eventually just around the Iowa and Missouri border between those two towns, you need to be in a storm shelter of some sort, as this is a very, very strong area of rotation here. We can go ahead and switch back to our radar view. This is what we're looking at. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. This cell is headed this direction. If you are in the path of this storm, you need to be taking this extremely seriously at this point. Yeah, this is just a heck of a storm here. Out here near Unionville. We did just get another tornado warning. This actually, I believe, was just one that was updated, one of the Missouri ones. So nothing new on the map. However, this area near Lucerne and Newtown is looking a little bit more broad. Not terribly concerned about this warning at the moment. Meanwhile, near Jamesport, Weatherby, Pattonsburg, there's a couple of different updrafts competing for similar resources, as you have three supercells here trying to all get going. If you're anywhere in any of these towns here, Jamesport, Jameson, Coffee, Gilman City, Brimson, Trenton, Tyndall, McFall, Pattonsburg, Weatherby, Winston, anywhere in this area, you definitely need to be taking this seriously. They did just issue a broad, considerable severe thunderstorm warning with this one as well. So, and this is tagged for, I'm sure it's a tornado possible, but you also have golf ball sized hail coming out of this storm. So it's one we need to pay close attention to. But again, our most significant tornado right now is most certainly just north of Unionville. This is one that we need to really, really keep a close eye on here, as our good friend Alan with Midwest Weather is up there right now. It looks like we did lose his feed momentarily. There's going to be a lot of interference with him, as he is kind of right in the thick of it here. So if we can get a good visual on his stream, and I'm staying in contact with his crew as well. The second that we can get a decent visual on this, we're going to have it here for you full screen, and hopefully get a decent look at what we're seeing here in Unionville, which is really important. If we're able to give a live look at this tornado and someone in that region sees it, I can tell you that they're going to go to a basement or some sort of a storm shelter or structure, or a sturdy building or something like that. So it's important that we do the best that we can to show this as much as possible, as it looks like we did lose Alan's feed here, at least temporarily. So yeah, this is certainly very concerning here with this storm. I'm going to go ahead and switch to no chaser camera mode for just a moment here, while we have that feed kind of recycling a bit. And we'll see what I can get going. Actually, it does look like they have gone back to their radar mode, so we'll just go ahead and show that instead of showing their Discord call. That makes a lot more sense. But again, this is a particularly dangerous situation right around the northern Missouri and southern Iowa border here, one that you need to pay close attention to. A strong tornado was put down from the storm moments ago, and it looks like we may have the storm recycling here, as Alan is at some high ground and may have a visual on this here within moments. We're going to go ahead and full screen him here. Give me just 1 second. There we are. Going to go ahead and keep him full screened here as we try to get a decent look on this this supercell here. You can see a lowering. I know it's a little grainy, but you can see a lowering on the left-hand side of your screen near those trees, as those that gray kind of heads right towards the ground. And potentially we might be, it's possible we're looking at a tornado right here in the center of your screen, or at least some sort of lowering. It's very grainy. It's difficult to tell whether or not we've got a tornado on the ground here. But Alan's got a heck of a view at this thing, as it looks like we may have a tornado on the ground. Again, we are very grainy at this point. It's difficult to see, but this is a potentially a very strong tornado on the ground here. So if you're in Unionville, again, we're moving northeast out of Unionville at this point. So if you're in the path of this storm, anywhere near the Missouri and Iowa border, you need to be taking this extremely seriously. We did just get another confirmed tornado, confirmed by weather spotters on this cell near Jamesport. This is one that we definitely need to look at as well. Allen's buffering here. I'm going to go ahead and exit full screen for just a moment and give you a quick look at this cell down here, where down here in Jamesport, yeah, we've definitely got a potential tornado on the ground, as we do have weather spotters. The National Weather Service has confirmed this. Weather spotters have confirmed this tornado as of 4:35. This was 3 minutes ago. It was near Jamesport. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is just north of town here in Jamesport. If you're in Jamesport, Trenton, Tyndall, this is in north western-ish Missouri, northern Missouri. If you're in that region, you definitely need to be in some sort of an underground shelter. But we're going to jump back really quickly here to the PDS tornado warning in Unionville, Missouri, as this one is gunning directly towards the border of Iowa, Missouri. We're going to go ahead and jump back into full screen here and get some sounds here from Allen, as this is just a unbelievable looking velocity couplet here on radar. I mean, this is just pretty insane stuff. Allen is saying we've got a tornado back on the ground here. Again, this is a PDS tornado warning with a very, very powerful velocity couplet. If this tornado has just touched the ground, then we very well could see a strong tornado developing here within seconds. We've got a visual on this right now here with Allen with Midwest Weather, as it looks like he's about to be turning to potentially give us a view on this storm. Looking at where he's at, I mean, it should be just to his northeast. Allen is not far from this thing at all. As this is a particularly dangerous situation here in northern Missouri that we need to pay very, very close attention to. We're going to continue to monitor this here, as it looks like Allen is getting into a little bit of the bear's cage action here with some heavier rain. So that on top of the resolution that we're getting is making it a little difficult to tell what we've got. But Allen was saying something just moments ago. If we've got a tornado on the ground, it would probably be just off to the right-hand side of the screen here. I imagine that Allen's going to probably try and turn that camera that direction if he can find a safe place to pull over and take a look at this thing. But he is kind of in the bear's cage behind it, where there is heavier precipitation. And this is becoming a little bit more of a rain wrap scenario, where you could probably see it if you're anywhere near like Livonia out in northern Missouri here. But Allen near Unionville is definitely in the thick of it, and some of that precipitation. You can see heavy amounts of precipitation getting blasted onto his windshield there. And all of that rain looks like it's blowing left to right, which would make sense, as this storm should be, or this tornado, I should say, should be off just to his northeast here. Allen is, I mean, right in the middle of this thing. Himself, Ben Williams, Bryant Bureau, and Dylan Hale. Cole Johnson nearby as well. Ben Williams is just out ahead of this thing, so we need to keep a very close look on this. And Allen has got a good visual on this thing here. We did just get another PDS tornado warning polygon that was issued here. And this is an extension of this same storm, but we're getting into Iowa now. I'm going to go ahead and exit full screen so I can show you this just for a quick second here, as we do have this secondary polygon, this PDS tornado warning that has been extended. This is a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado, confirmed as of 2 minutes ago. So definitely on the ground, and Allen's going to probably be able to give us a visual here just within moments. So this is something that we need to pay very, very close attention to. We're going to continue to monitor here. Again, this is a particularly dangerous situation now, as Alan Geiger with Midwest Weather is on this thing. He is in the thick of it right now. And we'll see if we can get a visual on it here shortly. I want to keep his volume at somewhat reasonable of a volume so we can hear him if he says anything. Since he's got a tornado off to his right side here. Looks like that dark gray area in the middle of the screen when he comes over this hill. That's probably the tornado that we're looking at. Again, it's really hard to see right now. And there's that chime that you just heard for the PDS tornado warning that was issued into Iowa. As yeah, Alan here is definitely okay. That is probably the tornado that we're looking at in the middle of your screen here. That gray area extending from the cloud to the ground. It kind of looks like a rain shaft. This is most likely what we're looking at. A large and extremely dangerous tornado, according to the National Weather Service here. This was 5 miles northeast of Unionville, probably around 6 to maybe 7 miles northeast of Unionville by this point here. Looks like I'm not 100% certain if this is on the ground. It may have briefly lifted here. As I mean, you can see these winds rotating like crazy. On radar, I can give you another quick look at the radar here. As here's your velocity couplet, the latest scan. We can watch this thing's progression over the last couple of minutes here, as it is looking pretty menacing still. And something important to mention here is that there's nothing to stop it right now. I mean, it's getting perfectly clean inflow. There's no congestion out to its southeast. It's going to continue to just bring in all of the nutrients that it needs. It's going to just eat its vegetables and fruits and really get itself going here. As I'm going to go ahead and get back to Alan full screen. I don't want to take away here from this moment. He's saying we have 100%. We have a tornado on the ground right now. You can see the donut hole on reflectivity on radar. However, we're not getting much of a CC drop that sticks out to me anyway. It makes me think that there is absolutely debris being lofted at this current moment. And it would appear the same way as well from the visuals we're getting from Alan here. Is you're not seeing a condensed funnel that would maybe be throwing debris up into the atmosphere that would get detected by radar. But it does sound like we've certainly got a tornado on the ground here northeast of Unionville at this current moment. Again, this is 4:45 p.m. on June 10th right now. For those who are watching this live, you need to be in a shelter if you are not in one. If you are north of Livonia and eventually headed towards Moulton, south of X-Line or southeast of Cincinnati in Iowa. And again, this is just about to cross the border from Missouri into Iowa. This is a very, very, very powerful rotating velocity couplet here that we're looking at. Again, on radar, we're seeing this at around 9,000 feet in the air, so we're not seeing the lowest levels here, but this thing looks very, very, very impressive on radar. Let's not forget that we do have another confirmed tornado on the ground near Trenton in northern Missouri right now. Maybe you could call it northwestern Missouri. I would just call it northern Missouri. It's just basically going right up the highway. There's a lot of storm chasers on that cell right now, including Brandon Kopic. And all sorts of other big names who happen to be out there in northern Missouri right now. This tornado just came out of Jamesport, Missouri, and it's headed pretty much due northeast towards Trenton right now. So if you're in Trenton, make sure, or any surrounding areas near Trenton, Missouri, you need to be in some sort of a storm shelter right now. But the most concerning one is this PDS tornado warning. Particularly dangerous situation northeast of Union, Missouri, and headed towards Moulton, Iowa right now. It's just about to cross the border within the next 10 minutes here. This thing is going north pretty quickly, and Alan's got a visual on it here. So we're going to continue to stay with Alan and try and see if we can get a good angle of this tornado. As Alan is, I'm not sure the exact direction he's going. I'm going to assume that he's headed towards the northeast right now. I'm trying to find him on the map. I don't know where exactly there he is. Okay, I'm not sure what direction he's going in, but he has been moving northeast from Unionville. I'm not sure if that's the direction he's currently facing, but he is staying right on this thing. I mean, he is pretty much right near the Bears cage here, probably within a mile or maybe 2 miles max of where this tornado would be if it was on the ground right now. His visual is a little bit laggy. We're occasionally losing his broadcast, but we're going to continue to stay with him and monitor this situation here. As you can see, we're clocking in at like a whopping 16p on the broadcast here at times, but we're going to continue to stay with it. Again, this is a particularly dangerous situation near the border of Missouri and Iowa, just about to cross into Iowa, northeast of Unionville, Missouri, and west of Livonia, Missouri. It kind of looks to me like Allen might be just kind of staring right up the mezzo. I think he's backing up. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing right now. It looks like it appears as though Allen's reversing down the middle of the road right now. I hope he's not seeing a tornado directly in front of him at this point. It looks like he's turning around, like whipping a hard U-turn here. I almost wonder if he maybe missed a turn, but you can look at those trees, man. Those trees are just whipping around like crazy. There is very, very strong winds in the vicinity of this couplet. Even if there isn't a tornado on the ground, it is blowing winds like crazy right now. Perfect. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, Allen is now kind of getting blasted by some precipitation, it looks like. I'm not sure exactly where he's going. I wonder if he almost ran out of road and is now going back to the southwest to try and get back to a better road network. But this velocity couplet is still looking very, very impressive on radar. I don't know exactly where Allen is headed right now. Okay. Allen is going to be headed towards a road that can take him north, and then he's going to try and get back east ahead of it. So basically, he's doing a glorified hole punch, a glorified core punch at this current moment here. Um, yeah, yeah, this is definitely a very concerning moment here for Allen, as our thoughts are with him and hoping that he stays safe. Of course, he's a professional. I think he's going to do very well here, of course, but definitely want him to stay safe here, as he's going to be going through some very heavy precipitation, possibly a hail core, and some pretty crazy winds here from this storm, as he's going to try and get north and then get east of it again so that he can work himself back towards the region of inflow and get a good visual on this thing. In other news, we do have another tornado warning up in Wisconsin at the moment. I can go ahead and I'm going to take a look at that, as Allen is potentially dealing with some roadway flooding here. I'm just going to take a quick look here at the tornado warning up in Wisconsin. It's not looking incredible anymore. It looks like it has broadened out, but this is the type where you could easily get a little spin up anywhere along this region here that I'm highlighting here in white. So if you're in Neopit, Zor, or Middle Village in Wisconsin, or eventually headed towards areas like White Lake or just south of White Lake and Langlade, maybe southwest of Mountain, or eventually headed that direction as well, you definitely need to make sure that you're getting into some sort of a storm shelter here, as this is the storm that we're looking at, and it's got some rain-wrapped potentially precipitation, or rain-wrapped rotation, I should say, that could put down some sort of a spin-up tornado. So one that we need to continue to pay close attention to. Our confirmed tornado that was down in Missouri as well has been lifted here, down in northern Missouri here near Trenton. That confirmation has been lifted, but the warning remains active, as it does appear things have potentially broadened out here just a little bit. I'm going to take a look at it here. Yeah, it looks like things have broadened out just a little bit near Trenton, but the velocities are still there. They did go ahead and tornado warn the storm that we were mentioning earlier, that rotation near Weatherby that is now pushing into Jameson, an area that just had a tornado all of 25 to 30 minutes ago. So we are going to continue to watch these ones very closely as well. This is what we're looking at here in Jameson. As you can see, this storm has got pretty clean inflow. The storm near Trenton has got pretty clean inflow. These two are staying semi-discreet and kind of killing off the storm to their northwest. They're going to continue to dominate this region right now and just absorb all of that energy and all that spin that is in the area. They're just going to continue to keep sucking it in right up into the updraft. And we could definitely see a couple more tornadoes in areas like Jameson and Trenton, and eventually headed towards the northeast, towards areas like Galt, Humphreys, Milan, Harris, and Pollock. So this is one that we're going to continue to keep a close eye on. Again, as Allen is on the cell here at the border of Missouri and Iowa, it is just beginning to kind of touch the border there as it is heading off to its northeast. So it looks like we've lost our visual with Allen, at least for a couple of seconds here. But we're going to stay with him. I can go ahead and turn on his dot and let's figure out where he is. There he is right there. So there's Allen right here. And here's this velocity couplet where you have your broader mesocyclone. Again, we're looking at the mid-levels on radar here. We're looking at around 8,000 feet at this point. So we're most certainly not looking at the lowest level rotation. So these winds are not what they're seeing at the lowest levels, or at least not exactly anyways. But Allen was going to try and make his way to the north and then eventually make his way east to try and get out ahead of this thing. But he's got some legwork to do because it's moving pretty quickly, and this cell looks very much like it wants to spit out another tornado at us here. And if it does, it might be a little bit rain wrapped here. It does have very clean inflow, nothing really impeding it to the southeast here. So I can go ahead and draw that out. And we do know that the surface winds were a little bit more northerly, just like this. So this storm has formed in the prime conditions to continue its life cycle as it continues to propagate out to the northeast. Again, we are in northern Missouri and eventually headed into southern Iowa. We're just getting near crossing the border there. You can see what looks like a donut hole here. A couple scans ago, we actually did have one right there. But no CC drop that would indicate that we have debris being lofted. That's not to say that there wasn't a tornado on the ground, but it just at that moment, radar was not detecting any debris at around 8,000 to 9,000 feet. And we're trying to stay with Allen here, as it looks like we have lost his feed for the time being. We should hopefully get him back within a couple of minutes. But most likely he's driving right through the thick of it here, right through some of the most intense precipitation right in this region, and trying to make his way out ahead of this thing towards his northeast. But he's going straight north right now, I believe, and then going to try and cut east ahead of it. Ideally, within a few minutes, we'll be looking at Allen, who will be sitting somewhere like right here, or maybe in this broader area down here, and the storm is just going to move right off to the northeast. And it's going to stay to his northwest so that he can have a good look right up the gullet of this very significant supercell and this PDS tornado warning down here in Missouri and Iowa at this point. It's right on the border of both. Yeah, this is definitely a very concerning one here. If you're just joining us in the chat, we've only been live for about 37 minutes covering this storm. But make sure that you're following us on all platforms and are subscribed to us so that you don't miss notifications for broadcasts like this in case one of these types of storms is headed right for your area. Our hopes and prayers are all with the folks of Moulton, Mark, Glenwood, Lancaster, north of Livonia, and Unionville, which was impacted earlier by this tornado when it was on the ground and looking pretty strong at that point. It looks like we may have a second updraft potentially trying to form just west of our pretty violent looking velocity couplet. Of course, again, at the mid levels, this does not mean that there's a violent tornado on the ground, but we do have a very strong looking velocity couplet here on radar. But I want to be clear at this moment, we don't have confirmation on whether or not a tornado is on the ground at this exact moment. Um, uh, but we are going to continue to stick with it, and hopefully we can get Alan back here within moments, or within at least the next 10 to 15 minutes, as he's going to stay with this storm and other storms that are going to be in southern Iowa, which was the region that we had discussed last night and this morning for him to target today. In other news, we do have more severe thunderstorm warnings, a flash flood warning, and more tornado warnings down here to the south. I know we just mentioned these earlier. Things do look like they might be tightening up a little bit near Trenton and Jameson. So we could be seeing potentially 2 more tornadoes dropping within the next 10 to 15 minutes if these can continue to get their act together, because there's nothing impeding them. They have the most clean inflow that you could possibly ask for here. This is not one that we particularly want to play around with. Yeah, things are still looking very, very concerning here, where Allen is at south of Moulton at this point and literally centered directly over the Missouri and Iowa border now at this point. Looks like we have gotten Allen's feedback as he is just driving through some very heavy precipitation. We're going to continue to follow him, and as soon as he gets a better visual, we're going to jump to full screen with Allen there. Let's take a quick peek at our tornado warning up in Wisconsin. This is, if I can get my radar to load. Interesting. Having a little bit of an issue with my radar program. I'm going to go ahead and full screen. Oh, there we go. Okay. Not sure what happened there. Again, we are northwest of Green Bay, so a very populated region up here. They have opted to continue this tornado warning. It is still looking like, okay, they did cancel it at this point. Okay, that's what I thought. I was gonna say it's still looking like it's broadening out. And yeah, this is the type where on this storm, if you get any kind of notching, any kind of you know shape that looks something like this on the line here, that is where you would be concerned about a tornado dropping. However, we're not seeing that right now. Things have gotten a little bit more potentially outflow dominant here, as that inflow hasn't been able to get pulled in and ingested into that storm. But our primary focus is, of course, on the PDS tornado warning down here in Iowa. They have gone ahead and lifted the PDS tornado warning for Missouri, as this storm is now fully crossed the border. And I would imagine that they're going to go ahead and issue another tornado warning polygon out ahead of this storm within the next maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Something along the lines of this, maybe a little bit smaller than that, through areas like Mark, Bloomfield, Stiles, Pulaski, maybe as far north as Drakesville, though I doubt it. And they actually have gone ahead and just issued a new PDS tornado warning here for parts of southern Missouri. Again, they're just trying to capture the bottom half of this of this mesocyclone, which makes sense. It just kind of looks weird on radar, a little bit of funny presentation. I imagine that this PDS tornado warning is not going to last long. They do have it listed as a dangerous tornado as of 4:59 p.m. with the source being radar indicated rotation. So, and again, that's that warning that just popped up there. That's the PDS tornado warning that we're looking at right here, right now, for right on the northern border of Missouri here. And I imagine this one's not going to last very long as this thing jumps north of the border. Yeah, this thing just looks insane. what you would think was looking like it might become a little bit more rain wrapped. I mean, this thing is just pulling everything around it in. I mean, we can watch its cycle here. The one thing that is a little bit redeeming here right now is that we have this area of precipitation beginning to develop here. So that could inevitably weaken this storm and ideally put out the fire a little bit here with this PDS tornado warning. If any of that moisture is able to cool off the air in this region as it gets ingested into the inflow. However, we do know that the surface winds are a little bit more northerly or southerly than we would like, a little bit more headed towards the north than we would like, at least in terms of trying to put out the fire here. But again, this is a particularly dangerous situation. Tornado warning on the map. These magenta polygons. We've had multiple tornadoes confirmed on the evening here. We do have all sorts of something I'll just go ahead and show really quickly. We do have all sorts of special marine weather statements on the Great Lakes for possible water spouts for large portions of the Great Lakes here. Yeah, possible water spouts in all sorts of areas, especially with the line in Lake Michigan here. But yeah, this is definitely an area of concern. I think Lake Michigan is really the only Great Lake I'm too concerned about at the moment, but just something worth taking a quick peek at there. And man, this thing just looks unbelievable. And it looks like that second updraft that was trying to get going just west of this cell is almost being ingested into the more dominant updraft just south of Moulton, which is only going to enhance things further if that is in fact what's happening. So this is, again, not to continue to just say this over and over again, but we have to pay close attention to this. And if you're in these regions, you have to be in a storm shelter at this point. If you're in areas like Mark or Moulton, eventually towards Bloomfield, maybe Stiles, Pulaski, Troy, Milton, Iowa, anywhere north of Lancaster, Missouri, or north of Glenwood, Missouri, you've got to be finding the most sturdy building that you can, any kind of a storm shelter or a basement. You need to get into it. Every single scan, this thing just continues to look very impressive here on radar. I don't want to forget about the 2 and now 3 tornado warning polygons that we do also have on the map down here in other parts of northern Missouri. This is all basically an extension. This one near Jameson is going to be allowed to expire, I'm sure, if it hasn't been canceled. Yeah, it has been canceled. So we are still with 2 tornado warning polygons with one of those warnings expiring, but these storms are not weakening. In fact, they appear to be strengthening as they move off towards their northeast as well, as they also have extremely clean inflow here. I know I've already mentioned this with these storms, but literally there's nothing to block it. There's no storms down there, no cooler air, no precipitation, nothing that's going to weaken these storms potentially here, at least for the next couple of hours, unless any other precipitation is able to fire off in that area. And it looks like Alan, I'm gonna take a quick peek at where he's at. What we do notice here is a little bit of storm training beginning to occur. Basically, it's kind of like unzipping, a giant line of storms. And this is happening in multiple areas. You can see right through here, right through here. And if I can go ahead and get out of that, you can watch these storms beginning to all fire off in a straight line. It kind of looks like you're unzipping a bag of marbles that's sitting like this, and you just unzip the bottom of it, and all the marbles start falling out from left to right, or in this case, yeah, kind of from left to right, as we're just kind of unzipping up the line here. They have gone ahead and issued yet another PDS tornado warning out ahead of this cell here for Mark, Bloomfield, Pulaski, Stiles, and Troy out in Iowa. This is in Davies County, Iowa, and Appanoose. Sorry, Davis County, not Davies. Davis County in Iowa. We do have Davies or Davis County in Missouri that is under a tornado warning at the moment as well. That's going to be over here near Trenton and Jamesport with these storms. This pair of supercells that are really doing well. They are just continuing to look more and more impressive with every single scan at this point. As there you can see, our notification has just come in for that PDS tornado warning, the extension that we have had issued. So we do have 3 PDS tornado warnings currently, but it is all for one cell at this moment. So we only have one PDS situation, you could say. We only have one particularly dangerous situation, but we do have 3 PDS tornado warned polygons on the map right now. And it is all for this cell just south of Moulton as it is headed towards the northeast. And I'm hoping that we can get a good look at Alan's feed here shortly. I'm going to take a look at where he's at, actually. See if he's catching up with this thing or not. It does look like John McKinney has made his way down there. Friend of the brand, whom we met out in Nebraska a couple of days ago, or about a week and a half ago. I'm not seeing Alan at the moment. Oh, there he is. That was as of 2 minutes ago. So it looks like Alan is not terribly far from this thing still. He's in a wooded area. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. That's a live camera feed from Alan right now, or at least as of a couple of seconds ago, as we do have, there's always a little bit of latency. But in general, Alan is really staying close to this thing. And it is beginning to look even better. It's almost beginning to look as good as it looked earlier when it was putting down a significant tornado. So we definitely need to be on the lookout for a possible tornado here. We do have a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado near Moulton. Weather spotters have confirmed this. So actually, we do have a tornado on the ground at this point. Again, we're not lofting debris as high as 9,000 feet where the radar is picking it up at least. But we've most certainly, according to weather spotters and the National Weather Service, we most certainly do have a tornado on the ground here in southern Iowa. And Will Bratton WX Storm Chaser and Midwest Weather Storm Chaser, Alan Geiger is on the case, as you can see right there. There he is. I know it's probably very small on your screens at home, but there he is. And you can see just below and to the left of his name, down in this corner down here, you can see his live stream. As here is your velocity couplet there. And if you had a tornado, it's going to be right in this central area in white. I guess I can go ahead and draw this in pink instead. If we had a tornado, it's going to be right in this area right now, or at least pretty close to that location. It looks like we've had another tornado warning issued in Missouri. I think these are all just extensions, I want to say, at this current moment. My map's getting a little messy. I got to disable a few things. Yeah, it looks like these are just the same 2 tornado warnings we've been talking about, and I think they've just made some updates to them, despite the fact that it's showing me that we have 4 tornado warnings there at the moment. Though I'm just not sure that I am. At least they're not showing up on my map yet. I don't think we should have that many. It looks like we should have in Missouri. We have the PDS here, and then we should have these 2. This one's already canceled. On the bottom left here for Jameson and Pattonsburg and Gallatin. This tornado warning has been canceled. But we do have 2 significant supercells that could put down a tornado just north of Jamesport and in and around Trenton, Galt, Humphreys, eventually headed towards Milan, Browning, and Osgood, and Laredo. Or Laredo. Laredo. Yeah, this thing is just looking quite beefy here. What the? I need to fix one thing really quickly here. Weird. I don't know how that happened. Okay. It looks like Alan is emerging, at least from some of the wooded area that he was in earlier. It looks like he is losing a little bit of ground on this storm, which is okay. I definitely, prefer that our people are not put in harm's way. But we most certainly do have a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located near Moulton or 9 miles northwest of Lancaster. That is what we're looking at. That is the direct verbiage from the National Weather Service here. And this is headed right towards the small town of Mark, Iowa. We can disable our radar here and see. This is not the largest town in the world, but there's obviously people there. And eventually it might be headed towards Bloomfield, which is a slightly larger town. So if you're in the town of Bloomfield, definitely make sure that, especially if you're south of town too, definitely make sure that you are in a storm shelter of some kind, as this storm is headed directly your way. Again, headed directly towards Mark, Bloomfield, possibly towards Stiles or just northwest of it, towards Pulaski and Troy in southern Iowa a little bit later on. Let's take a little bit of a zoom out and look around the map at what's going on throughout other portions of Iowa and Missouri here. It looks like we do have some other cells beginning to fire off here in northeastern Missouri. Those could pose a threat. We do have some unzipping lines going on here in other parts of Iowa and Missouri as well, and even into the farthest eastern portions of Nebraska. So we definitely need to keep a close eye on those. If any cells can fire right ahead of those unzipping lines and stay discreet, we could definitely see an enhanced risk for tornadoes with them as well. My goodness, this velocity couplet looks unbelievable. I'm definitely concerned for the folks of Mark in Iowa here. I know it's a smaller town, but my goodness, if you are in that town, you need to be in a basement right now. We're hoping we can get a better visual from Alan here and hopefully see that this is not hitting anything significant. But we definitely could have a significant tornado on the ground right now near Mark. Again, as of 5:04 p.m., that was 10 minutes ago, we had a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado, and the velocity couplet is looking even a little bit better than that now than it was 10 minutes ago. Peyton, I see you in the chat. I appreciate you, my friend. Down near Galt as well, we still have this area of rotation kind of centered over Laredo right now, and then another one headed towards the town of Trenton. These are, again, concerning supercells that could put down a tornado. I'm not sitting here saying, I think these are definitely going to put down a tornado here within the next few minutes, but they are cells that you want to pay close attention to. So if you're in Trenton, Laredo, Humphreys, Galt, Osgood, Milan, Browning, Missouri, northeast of Trenton, in Trenton, Tyndall, Brimson, or northeast of Jamesport. That's what I was trying to say. You need to be in a storm shelter, a basement, whatever you can get to. They have gone ahead and lifted the PDS tornado warning that was in Missouri. So now we are down to just 2 polygons, and they're probably going to let the lefternmost one expire here within moments. So we'll be down to 1 PDS tornado warning polygon. Again, this is all for the same storm that we've been following here for the last 45 minutes or so. This has been a very, almost an hour now, actually, we've been following this cell. This has been a very, very concerning situation here with this cell. As there are some bigger names here nearby. We do have Bryce Shelton in the area, and other folks like John McKinney that I've met or recognize. Of course, our man Alan is trying to make his way up there right now. Being on the back roads is making it difficult for him to travel that quickly, but this velocity couplet is looking pretty concerning right now. I can tell you one thing's for certain. As a meteorologist and storm chaser, a lot of times, if there was severe weather headed towards my house, I'd be spending some time outside for sure. But if I was in the town of Mark right now, I would be in the basement without a doubt. I wouldn't even be considering looking outside. This is not one that you want to play around with, especially given the precipitation in Mark. You might not see this thing until it's right up on you. So if you are in that town, and again, we are moments away from what could be a potentially very strong and dangerous tornado hitting the town of Mark. In fact, it could be happening pretty much now, or within the next 2 or 3 minutes here, at the very least. So if you are in that town, you have got to be in your storm shelter right now. We do have a view of this tornado that was in Unionville a little while ago. This was the first tornado that the cell put down about 45 minutes ago. As you can see, this is from Clint Hendricks the fourth at Clint_WX. Give him a follow for sure. This is you can see absolutely a tornado on the ground here at this point, from what we were seeing from Clint here. Again, this was a why. This is not live. This was around an hour ago almost, or at least 45 minutes ago. Yeah. This is the type of damage that this storm has done. You can see you got a fully condensed funnel at least for a brief moment here around this frame. Yeah. This thing was looking pretty intense. And I know Alan's feed in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen is a little bit laggy, but bear with us. We're going to try and keep a good eye on him as he tries to get in a position to take a look at this storm here, as he is just a couple miles west of it right now, I believe. Yeah, this is very, very, very concerning for the town of Mark, Iowa right now. If there is a tornado on the ground at this point, it is probably impacting that town right now. So our thoughts and prayers are from the entire Will Bratton WX team are absolutely, without a doubt, with the folks in the town of Mark, Iowa right now, as we do have a lot of storm chasers just south of town who will probably have a good look at the storm and may be able to push into town and help out if there is any damage from this storm. We did have our last PDS tornado warning polygon where that was no longer encompassing the cell get lifted. So we are down to just, again, one PDS tornado warning polygon. As of 5:04 p.m., that was 16 minutes ago, we had a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located near Moulton. And now we are seeing it just right around the town of Mark. This is a very, very concerning situation for that region here. It does look like it possibly got a little bit weaker. It is almost tighter, yet weaker at the same time. That could be a bad radar scan. We're gonna stay with this storm here and see what we can learn about it. We did have a tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning that's on the back end of this same cell, as there is a little bit of a secondary updraft going on just southwest of our PDS tornado warning. This is again just north of Livonia right now, to the west of Glenwood, to the west of Lancaster. One that we are going to continue to pay close attention to as well, in the event that it is able to get something going. However, the precipitation to its southeast makes me think maybe it won't get anything too crazy going. There's a bizarre radar artifact going on here, potentially a three body scatter hail spike, although I don't think that's what that is. I think that's just a weird radar artifact here. But again, in Mark, this is looking very concerning. This is up in Davis County, Iowa, the very, very southern end of Iowa here. Zooming out on the map, this is what we've got right now. It looks like that squall line is beginning to push off of the Great Lakes, off of Lake Michigan, and into the lower peninsula of Detroit right now. We can go ahead and take a look at that from the Grand Rapids radar here. Yeah, so It is just about to make landfall, essentially, right off of the edge of Lake Michigan here. So if you're anywhere in that Upper Peninsula region of Michigan, you need to be on the lookout for the potential for some pretty significant damaging winds and just a lot of precipitation. I'm not worried about anything besides that, but definitely the strong potential for some damaging winds as this storm heads your way. And also the potential that a water spout is able to fire off just off of or just over the lake and then make its way over land. That is something that we certainly see happen here and there. We're going to go ahead and jump back to Davis County, Iowa here, though, as our most concerning storm is still sitting there. It's not looking quite as strong, but it is still looking just as tight. They did go ahead and update this PDS tornado warning. We do have a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado as of just 2 minutes ago. Yeah, this is a very concerning cell here as we still have Allen's feed in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. I think he is losing a little bit of ground here on the cell, which is, again, that's okay. He's only, well, actually, it looks like he is headed eastbound right now, so he might be getting right towards it here in a short period of time. As you can see, his little arrow is pointing to the east now. So it looks like he is now eastbound, headed right towards this mesocyclone. We're going to go ahead and full screen him now and see if we can't get any kind of a visual on this storm. Again, I know that his stream's a little bit laggy, but that's okay. We're going to continue to work with it here. And meanwhile, we do have those other two areas of rotation in northern Missouri as well. I'm going to keep a close eye on those. And if either of those look very concerning, like they're about to put down a tornado, I will jump right to those. But as of right now, nothing confirmed on either of those polygons. Oh my goodness. Okay. We have our, wow. We have our first look at this tornado here. I'm about to go ahead and post this on Twitter in just a moment. Let me go ahead and open this link. My goodness, this is incredible. I'm going to go ahead and take Alan off full screen for just a second here so I can show you guys his view of this tornado from just moments ago. He did just go ahead and send this to me here. My goodness, look at this tornado. There it is. I mean, you can see the entire mesocyclone up here. You can see this rotation following this kind of path. And then obviously you've got a very large tornado that was on the ground, not rain wrapped at all. I mean, this thing was out for the visual. Everyone out for everyone to take a look at who was in that area. My goodness. Full credit goes to Alan with Midwest Weather here, as he did get an incredible view of this storm. We're going to go ahead and get this posted on social media to hopefully alert anyone who may be in that area. My goodness. This is some pretty insane stuff we've got going on here. Again, we are looking at Alan's live feed. Alan is headed directly towards this thing. He is right in the town of Moulton, or just around there right now, as of just looks like just seconds ago he was there. Things near Mark do look to be tightening up, and there is a secondary region of rotation just southwest of Mark now that is also looking concerning. Give me just a moment and I'm going to show you that. Oh my goodness. This is some insane stuff here, as we may have, I don't know if I am seeing this exactly correctly. I'm going to go ahead and show this here. Let me exit full screen, as it looks like we may have 3 potential updrafts here, most likely just 2, but potentially 3 areas of rotation where you could see a tornado drop. Of course, this one here on the top right, the northernmost of these, or the northeasternmost of these 3 potential couplets, at least 2 here, is the one that has been putting down a significant tornado over the last hour and a half almost at this point. It has been the most dominant by far. This one to its south, I'm not as concerned about, but we do have redevelopment out to the southwest of this original cell, now moving into our PDS tornado warning polygon. It's fully inside of there now. So this is one we need to keep a very, very close eye on for a potential second tornado going through the exact same areas the first one went through, which could be devastating for those regions. So hopefully that does not happen, but we do have a good look at Alan's feed right now. This is some crazy stuff here. Wow. Unreal. Yeah, definitely possibly 2 areas of rotation at the minimum here. I'm not forgetting about the other storms that are down in northern Missouri as well. These are now near Galt, Humphreys, Laredo, similar towns that we've mentioned, headed towards Browning and Milan, moving out of the Trenton area at this point, almost out of that region. Tyndall should probably be okay. They have gone ahead and canceled the tornado warning polygon that encompasses Trenton, Tyndall, and Brimson. That is Grundy County. But the other tornado warning that is encompassing Galt, Laredo, Humphreys, Osgood, Milan, and Browning, that one encompasses Grundy, Lynn, and Sullivan counties here in northern Missouri. And that one is still underway. And we're going to continue to keep a close eye on that one as well. Of course, we don't have a visual on that, as Alan is out there on the storm in southern Iowa at the moment that is pushing towards Pulaski and Bloomfield. Alan appears to be Alan appears to be getting a work call in the middle of the PDS tornado warning polygon. and he told them we can't talk about it right now. Ben, can you do me a favor and let me know confirmation that you can hear Alan's feed on the broadcast? Okay, it is very quiet most of the time. We've got some folks out in the chat. I've heard the barn that is in the Culver's commercials. It got torn apart by a tornado today. Interesting. We've also got Tanner talking about I hate seeing my home state like this. Yes, everyone who watched our first ever broadcast knows that I love me some Culvers, man. Absolutely love me some Culvers. But that's not the topic to talk about right now, as we still do have a PDS tornado warning in effect. It's going through 6 p.m. here. The last time it was confirmed was 12 minutes ago. It does look to be a lot weaker on radar, so hopefully this thing is beginning to fizzle out. But of course, we are watching Alan's feed here to see if you can get a visual on this. I'm going to go ahead and move him back to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and just show you what I'm looking at here is you can see you're not having these super, super bright greens and blues showing up, and you're not having these really, really bright reds showing up anymore. So this velocity couplet looks like it's definitely weakening, excuse me. There is a secondary updraft near Styles that also doesn't look all too terribly concerning, but it is possible that we have multiple rotating updrafts that could put down tornadoes here. And again, for those of you who may just be joining us, we did have just an unbelievable look at the strong tornado from a little while ago near the Iowa-Missouri border from Alan with Midwest Weather, who is an affiliate storm chaser of ours, in the feed that you are watching in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen right down there. So Alan is a phenomenal storm chaser. This is just an incredible photo here that we're getting out of that region right now. It looks like they have gone ahead and downgraded that PDS tornado warning, which is fantastic news. The National Weather Service clearly agrees with my assessment from a minute ago that things look to be broadening out and weakening. It is definitely possible that the storm recycles and puts down another significant tornado later on, but right now it's not looking all too terribly concerning. Meanwhile, they have issued another tornado warning in northern Missouri here, just to encompass a little bit more of this region out ahead of Browning now. As it looks like both of these storms are recycling. So they've put one polygon. I assume they're going to mention both tornado possible kind of regions here. It looks like they didn't. They also have it marked for golf ball sized hail. We can take a quick little look at that hail core here. As you can see, those pinks right in the middle, that is just taking a giant volumetric look of these clouds right here. And those pinks are where you could be seeing hail. So not a super significant looking hail core, at least on radar from what I'm seeing, but we're pretty far away from the radar site and easily could have golf ball sized hail from this storm. But we do have two very clear areas of inflow here that are ongoing. I'm going to stop using pink. Go ahead and use white. I feel like it's the easiest to see. But we do have two very clear areas of inflow here associated with these two supercells that are managing to stay discrete despite basically touching each other for the last half hour or so. So if they get their act together, we could certainly see a tornado get put down near areas like Laredo, Browning, eventually Winnigan, Milan, Greencastle, Novinger later on, or Novinger. But our most concerning tornado warning right now is still this former PDS tornado warning that does look to be cycling out a bit. It actually looks like the updraft that was in the southwest portion of this storm earlier is now beginning to take over. You can see, I'm going to go ahead and pull us a couple more frames here and we can take a look at this. See how far back it'll let me go. Okay, so here's earlier when we were seeing a significant tornado near Unionville. But as it pushes through, you can see on the back end on the southwest side here, right around here, the secondary updraft begins to form right in this region here, just southwest of Mark. And as time goes on, we can literally watch that updraft come around the bottom near Styles. And now it looks like it's taking over as the original updraft that produced the significant, large and extremely dangerous tornado from earlier might have been beginning to take over. However, the next scan later is where we're at now. And it looks like they're kind of even strength here. So we'll see what happens. We're going to continue to watch this one very closely here. There is another possible couple of areas where you maybe could get a brief spin up tornado. I assume they just put a severe thunderstorm warning polygon on this. It might be tornado possible tagged. It is in fact tornado possible tagged right as I'm talking about it. How about that? But you have these two very large, or really three very large polygons on the map here for these severe thunderstorm warnings, and they're all going to be tornado possible tagged. So what that means is that there is the potential that any of these storms could quickly notch out and produce a tornado before the National Weather Service even has time to put out a warning for it. This is the area near Lone Tree, Iowa that looks the most concerning to me, but we can switch radars and get a better picture of it here. Yeah, definitely possibly an area of concern, but this is very, very broad near Lone Tree. Not something I'm super concerned about at this moment, but definitely the possibility of a brief, weak spin up tornado associated with any of these storms in these larger severe thunderstorm warning polygons. And one of these is tagged with a considerable tag here for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. So again, if you're anywhere in this portion of Iowa, eventually headed towards Davenport and into northwestern Illinois, you definitely want to be on the lookout for some very fast winds, as well as the potential for some brief spin-up tornadoes. But again, the winds that you can sometimes get with these storms are going to put out weak tornado level damage. So you have to take them very seriously. Just because the warning sirens aren't going off doesn't mean that you should pay them less attention when you have storms that are this strong. And that is why the National Weather Service likes to issue these polygons way out ahead of the storms so that you have tons of time to see them, because you're not going to hear sirens going off. As we take another look at our Davis County, Iowa storm, the PDS tornado warning from earlier, it does look to be a lot weaker. Near Troy, though, we still could see things recycle, and we could get another tornado in a little bit here. At the upper levels, you can see near Laredo and Browning, we are 13,000 feet in the air at this point, but you can see these updrafts are very healthy and strong, rotating very well. It looks like this Browning one is actually pretty concerning at this point. I would not be surprised to see a tornado come out of this cell near Browning within the next few minutes if it continues to tighten up. The one near Laredo looks pretty solid as well, and it actually has the best hook echo morphology on radar, at least. But this Browning one is looking pretty good. It is interacting with the forward flank downdraft of the supercell behind it. So essentially that's this region here. It's kind of like a mini cold front where that cold air from the downdraft of this supercell is pushing outwards. And so that's where your area of rotation is. I'll use a different color here. We'll use pink. Right here is where your area of rotation is, and it's interacting with that colder air and more energy expended air that is coming out of the supercell behind it. So that could limit things a little bit, but at least on the most recent scan, it's looking pretty solid. And they do have 4 tornado warning polygons stacked on top of each other here at this point. I assume they're going to go ahead and, cancel this one. So one of these is going to go away. The map is a little bit messy, but there are all sorts of weather spotters out in this area. You see all those names that just popped up as I enabled weather spotters here. All of these names down here, including Adam Lucio, a name, and Brandon Kopic, names that are very, very popular. Norman Smith, even. Very, very popular names in the space. So if there is a confirmed tornado at any point, it'll get right to the National Weather Service quickly, and they'll go ahead and confirm that. Yeah, things do look to be weakening out here in Iowa, which is good. It looks like this storm is beginning to become outflow dominant. They have gone ahead and issued one more tornado warning out ahead of it, which is the smart thing to do, as we know that this storm has put out significant tornadoes, likely multiple significant tornadoes over the last almost 2 hours at this point. This has been a very long lasted supercell, long track supercell that has just been able to consume all sorts of resources and get spinning real good and put down at least one strong tornado, if not multiple. Again, for anyone who may just be joining us, I wanted to go ahead and give another look at the visual that we got from Storm Chaser Alan Geiger with Midwest Weather. I actually think I typed in his name wrong in this tweet. Did I not? I think I did. Yeah, I most certainly did. I think I can edit this still. Okay. There we go. Let's go ahead and update that. My good deed of the day. I fixed Alan's last name. That would have bothered me if I hadn't done that. And I found out later. Anyway, they have continued this tornado warning for the same storm. And Alan's feed is the one you're looking at in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. That is Alan with Midwest Weather, an affiliate of Will Bratton Weather. We haven't formally announced that on socials yet. We were hoping to get to that today, but things have been quite chaotic with how much severe weather we've had over the last couple of days, and especially going into tomorrow as well, as both of these supercells here near Browning and Laredo are looking decent as well. The Laredo cell especially has some really clean and good inflow. Meanwhile, the Browning cell looks like the velocities are a little bit faster, so maybe a little bit quicker rotation going on there, but it doesn't look like it's in as favorable of an environment given the cell that it is interacting with, the Laredo cell here. So that is this is what we're looking at. And of course, you can see that hook echo right here. It's your classic supercell shape is something like this, is where you get that hook echo there. You get your inflow coming into it, and then it's able to spin up into the updraft, and that's where you're able to get a tornado in that region down there. So that is what we are watching for. We do have no confirmed tornadoes on the ground at this current moment. However, we do have pretty much 3 cells that are looking concerning for tornadoes, as well as the spin-up tornado possibility and all of these cells that are beginning to push towards Fort Madison and Davenport and into northwestern Illinois here. Let's go ahead and full screen Alan here for just a moment, as it looks like he is pulled over, possibly looking at something. It sounds like he was showing a local police officer the footage. I'm not sure if you guys can hear his volume on screen here when he's talking. I know his stream's basically silent when he's not speaking. There is it sounds like there might be debris in the area or down power lines and trees. He's trying to get help from a law enforcement officer right now on trying to find some roads that can connect him to where he needs to go. We're going to exit full screen and keep his feed muted for the time being here. Oh, okay. I was like, what am I looking at? I'm on the wrong radar. It does look like things might be trying to recycle with a new updraft near Milton. So if this storm is able to get its act together, we're going to see a tightening of the couplet as it moves right into this pink circle. Where it currently is right here. But as it moves towards this pink circle, we're going to see it tighten up if it does decide to get its act together. And at that point, the tornado risk is going to increase yet again for this former PDS tornado warning supercell here. Very long track, long-lived supercell. Looks like things are becoming a little bit messier here down in Browning, which is good. The velocity couplet still does look really, really pretty solid. It's definitely got good inflow. Although I will say, this is interesting. So the radar is kind of implying to me that we are moving in this direction with a lot of these winds, which would not be ideal for the inflow. So hopefully this thing won't put down one. The Laredo one has nothing obstructing it. That one looks pretty favorable. We do need to get going though, as we've got another tornado warning in Wisconsin now. As we do have another cluster of thunderstorms beginning to fire off, and we can see this one hooking up and looking really good here. I wonder, this was surely, yeah, tornado possible tagged a little while ago. They've gone ahead and tornado warned this at this point. Let's go ahead and storm motion from the warning, and now you can see that velocity couplet subtracting the motion of the storm. So basically, right now you're only looking at the wind speeds of the rotating updraft. You're not incorporating in the speed of the storm moving by itself. So that's what we're looking at here. We are, yeah, this is a definitely a pretty concerning looking one. It looks like it did just broaden out over the most recent scan just a little bit. But one scan ago, it was looking very good. And this is a cell we want to keep a very close eye on here. It's headed towards Independence, excuse me, Arcadia, Whitehall, Blair, eventually maybe towards areas like Ettrick or Franklin or Taylor here in Wisconsin. Just to give a little zoom out on the map and see where we're at here. We are obviously in Wisconsin, and here we're just in the western side of central Wisconsin. We're north of La Crosse. Yeah, various other storms are firing off. This storm is definitely concerning a potential supercell up here in Center City, as it does have a very, very, very broad area of rotation in it. We'll see if this one gets its act together, or if this is going to be another one of those unzipping scenarios, essentially. You can see all sorts of other boundaries here that are going to pave the way for the convection for later this evening, as you've got a boundary here and here. These outflow boundaries are going to really aid the tornado risk later this evening as well, for any convection that's able to fire off and get going. This may become linear up here in Minnesota, but we'll see. We're going to keep a close eye on all of this here. Now, we do have a large line of thunderstorms that extends all the way into Canada. Nothing too terribly concerning with those. Of course, our most concerning cell in the northern portions of the Midwest right now is in Wisconsin here, where things are definitely looking decently solid here. It looked really good on this scan right here, which makes sense why the National Weather Service, after this scan, opted to issue a tornado warning. Hopefully this broadens out and doesn't put down a tornado. But this is radar indicated. Taking a look at spotters in the area. Looks like we actually do have a handful of spotters in this area. So that's good. If there is a tornado, we will hopefully get a visual on it. And the National Weather Service will be able to confirm it. Meanwhile, back to our problem child from earlier, down on the Missouri and Iowa border. It is possibly still continuing to recycle here. It is in a radar hole at this point. We, in my opinion, we need a radar in northwestern Missouri or northeastern Missouri here so badly. That is just, we really need one there, a large radar hole. And a lot of these storms in north central Missouri are moving into a radar hole as well. So we're not going to be able to see on radar the most pretty images, at least. But if I enable storm spotters here, you can see everyone and their brothers out there in northern Missouri right now, Corey Gherkin included. We saw Bryce Shelton was out there. Adam Lucio, Sarah Kasabian is out there. John McKinney, I believe, was out there as well. Or maybe he was at the Iowa border. All sorts of folks have been out there on these storms. So that is a good thing. The more chasers that we have out there, the better of a visual we can get and the more accurate weather information we can get. I'm still in awe as things actually do look to be recycling here in Milton. So we might be getting back going again with our original supercell. Again, we're not close to any radar at this point. We're looking 11,000 feet in the air. So it's really hard to judge. But things are definitely tightening up a little bit at the mid-upper levels here at this point. So near Milton or Cantrell, Mount Sterling, Keosauqua, Bonaparte and Farmington areas, also Mount Zion, we are looking at the potential for this cell to get going and put down another tornado. And then we still have this large tornado possible region of thunderstorms here. Just a very monstrous line of thunderstorms at this point, which is to be expected. We are expecting a second wave of convection to come through Iowa later in the evening in areas like this pink circle. That's also going to pose a significant risk for severe weather and tornadoes as well. They have gone ahead and shrunk down one of these warnings here in northern Missouri. Keep wanting to say northwestern Missouri for some reason. They've gone ahead and shrunk them down a little bit as these storms continue to move off to their northeast. So places like Laredo, Chula, Trenton, Jamesport, you guys are now finally out of the woods, at least for the time being, with the cells that are currently on the map. We do have some possible broad rotation going on near Arco, Bernard, and Graham here. And this time we are actually in northwestern Missouri. Again, we're pretty high in the air, 9,500 feet. So it's hard to have a perfect picture here on this storm. They have gone ahead and extended the considerable severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of this storm that's headed right for Davenport, really, or just south of. This is probably tagged with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Yep, and penny-sized hail. So, again, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and especially if they can get a little bit higher than that, you can see low-end tornado damage, and it will be widespread. So if you've got any umbrellas or anything outside, your car is below a tree, things like that, go ahead and move them now before the storm gets there. If you are in the farthest areas of this polygon, such as Matherville, Viola, Aledo, Reynolds, Sherrard, Cole Valley, Orion, Windsor. These are maybe even New Boston. If you're in New Boston, you need to move quick. Same with Buffalo Prairie and Reynolds. You need to move pretty quickly if you're in those areas. I don't recommend going outside in front of these storms, but if you feel it necessary, you do have a couple minutes to try and move some things below sturdy structures or bring some plants inside or umbrellas, whatever it may be. It's not looking quite as impressive near Milton and Cantrell here in southern Iowa, which is good. I'm really hoping this thing is able to fizzle out because at this point we would most certainly be rain wrapped, I believe. At least from, again, it's so hard to gauge when you're looking so high up in the atmosphere, but we would probably be rain wrapped with this storm if we had a tornado on the ground, which I don't think that we do. Same goes for the Winnigan cell, and then the one just west of it in Browning. That's one that you would be able to see clear as day. Other cells are beginning to fire off, not looking like we have any significant rotation to worry about anywhere except Bernard and Arco here. This one still is a little concerning to me. It looks like they do have it tagged as tornado possible. There is a broad region of rotation, but again, I know I've said it a million times, but we're looking 9,000 feet in the air. So it's difficult for the National Weather Service to get a good picture on this one. But the good news is there are actually a couple of chasers out there. Looks like there are 3 spotter network dots out there right now. So if there is a tornado, we will hopefully get a visual and be able to have that warning confirmed. You can still see Alan in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. We're going to go ahead and check in on him really quickly here. Alan's talking about potential search and rescue efforts that were ongoing. Here's Alan right here. You can't see my screen. You can only see his feed right now. Sorry about that. Here's Alan right here on the map. Go ahead and circle him. But there he is. In all of his glory, there's Alan. He is out of the woods, at least for the time being. There is more precipitation headed his way, with the potential for any of these to become supercellular, excuse me, a little later on. And it sounds like Alan is now headed south. So I think he's gonna gun south and try and get onto these cells over here, that are eventually going to be headed towards areas like Kirksville and Greentop here in northern Missouri. And if I was out chasing right now, that is exactly where I would be headed as well. Near the Des Moines area, we do have some precipitation, some cells beginning to unzip here. As this boundary pushes towards them, I'm going to go ahead and draw this out a little bit. This boundary right here, as it pushes towards these storms, which are moving to the northeast, we could see some of that vorticity get ingested and we get some rotation embedded in this line of thunderstorms. And we could see a little bit of a spin up tornado or something like that going on here. And you can see this outflow boundary just making its way right towards the cells that are in areas like Dexter or Redfield or Earlham or DeSoto, just near the Des Moines metro. We do have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning on the supercell up here. Where are we at? We're in southeastern Minnesota near Fountain. This might be tornado possible tagged as well. It looks like it is not, but we do have 1 3/4 inch hail and wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Let's take a little volumetric look here at this hail core. As there you can see, you've got some elevated higher values coming back, these pinks here, typically indicative of a hail core. It sounds like one of our tornado warnings did get updated, possibly shrunken down a little bit. I think it was one of the Missouri ones. I don't mean to keep coming back to this, but while we have dead moments, I do want to share this incredible work that was done here from Alan just about an hour ago here now. So this is or maybe not quite an hour ago, but close to an hour ago at this point. This was a very strong tornado. Alan mentioned something about search and rescue on his broadcast. I don't think you guys can hear his feed, unfortunately, coming through the stream. That's something we're going to work on in the future. But for the time being, I can relay what he's saying. And he was talking about, he's talking with on the phone about what he had spoken with an emergency official about with search and rescue. But I mean, I don't need to circle it. There's a giant tornado right in the middle of your screen there. That's what he was looking at a little while ago. And it's definitely possible that that storm impacted some areas near Stiles. I think Mark was the town that looked like it took a direct hit, at least. Possibly anywhere really between Unionville and Mark. Our Wisconsin tornado warning was lifted, by the way, from that cell from earlier that we were watching in central western Wisconsin. Okay. We still have Alan's feed in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen as he is now heading south, trying to get on these tornado-warned supercells, this pair of them, in northern Missouri. Again, they're in a radar hole. We're not going to get a good look at them on radar, but hopefully Alan can provide us with a visual. I'm going to go ahead and check in on where he's at, if I can push the right buttons. There's Edgar O'Neill out there. Where is Alan? It's like, where's Waldo, but where's Alan? I do not know where Alan is, but he's around. He's probably on my screen right now, and I'm just missing him. Regardless, though, we do know that he is. Let's see. You know what? We have this wonderful thing called technology. We can just figure out where he is. We can just do this incredible thing where I just simply full screen him for a second here. Boom, he's in Bloomfield, Iowa, or at least that was the last time that Brandon updated his location. And there's Bloomfield. So that's where he should be, right near where John McKinney was. And I know he was headed south. There he is. So he's just crossed into Missouri, and he is gunning south right now, moving pretty quickly, trying to get towards this tornado warned storm. So we're going to have a visual on that one within about 15 to 20 minutes here, as we go forward in time. This is perhaps a decent moment to take a look at where we're kind of verifying in the regions for today. With this orange region having depicted the enhanced risk for severe weather outlined by the Storm Prediction Center earlier today. This is verifying pretty well. This is where we've been seeing our severe weather. I think the tornado risk was most congealed in this region, I want to say. And that isn't verifying quite as well, or I don't know. They changed it like 2 or 3 times today. Let me take a look at actually where it was. Actually, they've got it spot on. Okay, that's what I thought. I was going to say, but yeah, they've got it, this region right around this pink circle here. And that's where we've been having our most significant concerns, as we did just get another tornado warning right towards Davenport. That's obviously a very, very, very populated city. As it looks like, yeah, we've got a little bit of a couplet starting to spin up here near Bluegrass. Again, I can disable the radar for just a moment here, and you can see Bluegrass is somewhat populated, but just to the east is a giant city. So this is not one that we want to play around with. If you're in Davenport or anywhere in this tornado warning, you need to be in some sort of a sturdy shelter. If you have a storm shelter, get to it, a basement or the interior-most room of a building, a bathroom, put a mattress over yourself. That has saved lives in the past by just getting in the bathtub and putting a mattress over yourself. These are real stories, not ones that I am making up off the top of my head here. But we do have this area of rotation just west of Bluegrass, headed directly towards Davenport. This is all radar indicated, as it does look to be potentially tightening up here. It's not unbelievably impressive by any stretch, but it's there. It is definitely there. Up a little higher in the tilts. Yeah, it's definitely there at the upper levels. At the lower levels, we'll see if it can maintain that. But this is most certainly one to be pretty concerned about. I'll go ahead and put some circles on the map. Here's our area of rotation, just near Bluegrass, right there, if I want to make it a little bit tighter. And it's headed out in this direction right towards town, or at least, at the very least, the northern part of Davenport and potentially into the suburbs and near where the airport is, as we can take a look at the map here. Here's downtown Davenport on the river, and just north of there in the suburbs, at the very least, that's the part of town it's headed towards, if not towards downtown. It could also be headed towards the airport as well. It could easily take a turn and head towards the southern half of the city and into Illinois, basically. As those are now our only 4 tornado warnings on the map, as we have the 2 supercells in Missouri, northern Missouri, the 1 supercell that was our PDS warning from earlier, and then we have the cell in Davenport. Things here near Mount Zion are not looking quite as impressive to me. Down near Mount Sterling, it's still there. I mean, they may have canceled this. I was going to say I wouldn't expect them to, but they may have canceled this. They did not. This is a tornado warning that is still active here in southern Iowa. Areas like Mount Zion, Keosauqua, Hillsboro, Stockport, Bonaparte, Mount Hamel, Houghton, and Salem are all kind of in the trajectory of this storm and need to be paying close attention to it. I'm going to keep a close eye on this Davenport cell here, as it does kind of look like it wants to get going. It almost looks as though we have a second area of rotation that's firing off. We may have kind of a splitting cell here embedded in this line of thunderstorms. Quite bizarre, as it almost looks like right here we've got your counterclockwise rotation, as this is towards the radar and that is the way towards away from the radar. So you may have counterclockwise broad rotation here just north of Walcott, and then down here you have towards the radar here and away from the radar here. So you might have clockwise rotation. So an anticyclonic tornado is not out of the question here near Bluegrass and headed towards closer to downtown Davenport. Meanwhile, the cyclonic one, if that were to become a little more concerning, would be headed kind of right towards the airport and towards Eldridge, the northern parts of the Davenport like greater region here. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look at where Alan is at. We're just going to continue to update with him here. I guess I could turn on, I don't know if my lightning uh, thing works anymore, my place file. It's definitely refreshing. There it is. Look at that. I can even show lightning if I want to. How about that? It doesn't look amazing, but it's there. Anyway, I'm gonna take a look and let's see where Alan is at. He's headed down this road right now, as there he is as of about a minute ago or less than. So he is punching south right now. He's about, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 minutes away from having a good look at what could be a tornado producing pair of supercells in northern Missouri near areas like Winnegan. And in Missouri, we're looking at Lynn and Sullivan counties, excuse me. In Iowa, this tornado warning polygon has been shrunken down just a little bit, as we are dealing here with Van Buren County, as it is just not looking very impressive to me anymore. I think they're going to go ahead and let this one. Yep, they did cancel it. I was going to say they may let it expire, but it looks like they just went ahead and took the liberty to cancel it. So the very significant supercell, long track supercell that produced a large and extremely dangerous tornado just a couple hours ago, has finally gone away. So now we are shifting our focus towards other cells that are firing off. The stuff near Davenport, I get why they want to jump the gun and warn it, because it's headed towards an extremely populated area. It's not looking very impressive to me, though. They may end up canceling this here not too long from now. Of course, we are very close to the radar at this point, so it is kind of difficult to tell. Yeah. Meanwhile, we do still have multiple considerable tag severe thunderstorm warnings. These are all going to be for wind at this point. We have winds blowing at 70 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour is what all of these are tagged for. So through much of eastern Iowa and northwestern Illinois, let me grab my pen here, all throughout this region, we are looking at very widespread damaging winds potentially headed your way. So if you're in areas like Peoria, Galesburg, Cambridge, Princeton, Ottawa, Lakin, Tulin, Galesburg, Illinois, anywhere in that region, if you have a second to run outside and make sure that anything you have outside is secure, and your vehicles are under some sort of shelter so that you don't get a tree dropped on them, definitely take care of that. But if one of these warnings is issued over you, you're going to want to stay inside at that point. That's diabolical, Ben, but I fully respect it. Thank you very much. That was Ben in my ear, who is our editor here at Will Bratton WX. He does a phenomenal job. Of course, you guys can't hear him, but he just let me know that he was going to have to leave. which is completely okay. Any chance of stretched berry sightings? As my good friend Ryan. Oh my goodness. It looks like we have Cody and Ryan in the chat, two of my good friends from high school who I haven't gotten to hang out with or see in a while, man. I miss you guys. They said, any chance of snow on the router this fine afternoon? To answer your question, no, there's really not any chance of snow on the router anytime soon here. We're going to need to wait about 4 or 5 months until that's going to become a possibility for at least our neck of the woods. And Rotor saying, any sign of stretched berry sightings? Shout out Michael Quinn as well for that inside joke. We may see some stretched berries. I mean, you can see a little bit of a stretched red region right here. We can call that a stretched berry at this point. I appreciate you guys stopping by the chat. It means a lot. And all of us need to get together soon. Not to have social hour amidst a bunch of tornado warnings. That's probably frowned upon, but we are still watching the Winnigan and Browning storms very closely here south of Greencastle, as it's in a giant radar hole at this point. So there's really no good way to know what these storms look like unless we have chasers on the ground in that region. Peyton says, Ben is my goat. Shout out to him. And Mason says, such a handsome guy. I appreciate all of these names that I know coming through the chat. Really appreciate you guys stopping by and supporting what we're doing here at Will Bratton WX. You're coming to St. Louis next month. Oh, we might have to link up. They have gone ahead and issued another considerable severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of this pair of supercells in northern Missouri at this point, northeastern Missouri. This one's going to last us until 7 p.m. Central Time with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and ping pong ball-sized hail. I don't know if any of this has been observed. They do have it tornado possible tagged, and everything is radar indicated at this point, so no observations. Ryan Anderson in the chat as well. All the boys must be hanging out together. Ryan Anderson, good to see you. Good to hear from you, my friend. We also need to see each other soon, man. It's bringing me right back to the good old days. I'm going to check in on where Alan is at. Alan is our most recent signed storm chaser. There he is right here as of, it looks like that was less than a minute ago. So he's getting very close here to this tornado warned pair of supercells in northern Missouri. So hopefully we're going to be able to get a visual on that from him not too long from now. I would imagine, yeah, we have gone ahead and that last tornado warning in Iowa has been canceled for the time being. And we'll see if that cell recycles later on. Obviously, we're in a radar hole, so everything kind of looks like slop. But we're doing our best working with what we can, as the tornado warning or the tornado warning cell near Davenport is now right over the radar, right over the airport. So I assume they're just going to let this warning ride out, as it's going to be really difficult to get a good view on this storm. Of course, visually, there's infinite people out there who are going to be able to get a look at it and see if there is a tornado. But in terms of radar, we are not going to have a very good view, as it is too close to that radar site. Now, again, we're in a giant radar hole here, but it almost looks to me like we have one dominant updraft that's taken over near Winnigan, and that is going to pose the continued risk for a tornado throughout northern Missouri here with this supercell. Again, a little bit of a zoom out to see where we're at. This is where we're at. We are in north central Missouri, getting into northeastern Missouri, as well as the border of kind of like the tri-state border region of Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois. Again, this warning here in the middle of the map is gone. That one has been canceled. It's just still sitting here on my map. But that one is done. We do have a warning here in downtown Davenport and directly over the airport. That is a concerning one, as well as we have another one in northern Missouri. I did want to point out that we do have a flash flood warning here for Davies, DeKalb, Gentry, Grundy, Harrison, and Livingston counties in Missouri as well. A lot of precipitation has fallen in those regions. Our cell that we talked about a little while ago in Bernard is looking okay still. I think they probably still have this tornado possible tagged. Yes, they do. That is one we're going to continue to keep an eye on, but it's not very concerning at the exact moment right now. Yeah, near Winnigan. Again, it's difficult to tell, but it looks like we may have one dominant updraft beginning to separate itself here with this supercell. But it's in such a radar hole that it is very, very difficult to tell at this point, unfortunately. Yeah, we very well might. I bet this thing's got a nasty hail core as well. Again, this is unbelievably elevated. You can see the giant gap here, right here, between the surface and the bottom of the radar beam. Oh, my goodness. What have I done? Put a bunch of slop on the screen. But yeah, even at the highest levels, you're seeing the top of a hail core here. So this is definitely a powerful supercell that is most certainly putting down some decent hail. Yeah, out here in Davenport, things are still very messy. It's impossible to get a good view on this right now, unfortunately. But they have gone ahead and issued a giant, considerable severe thunderstorm warning polygon out ahead of this line of thunderstorms. This is tagged with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, which have apparently been confirmed by trained weather spotters. I'm assuming some folks out there who have a weather stations on top of their vehicles have probably measured some of these 70-mile-per-hour or greater wind gusts coming out of the storm. Let's see what they have. It is actually radar indicated, interestingly. Very, very interesting there. But again, northern Missouri is definitely going to be one of our most significant areas of concern here. Looks like we have just had a tornado warning issued out in Kansas. I hadn't really been looking at Kansas, to be honest with you, but we do have an area of rotation just west of Randolph here in Kansas, where we most certainly have some good rotation in a semi-discrete cell here. I'm going to go ahead and pull some earlier radar frames here. We're going to take a look and see. Yeah, it looks like things are kind of unzipping a little bit. So if we get a tornado, it's going to eventually get embedded in this line of thunderstorms as the cell near Leonardville kind of catches up to it here in Randolph. Let's go ahead and go storm relative here. Yeah, definitely a solid area of rotation here, just basically in Randolph at this point. Randolph is not the largest town, but it's definitely got some population there. So this cell is definitely a concerning one here in Kansas. And this is not the only supercell that is fired off in that area. We do have another one here. It doesn't. I'm actually not certain that this one has a mesocyclone and is rotating at this point. This one over here west of Wakefield might be. But again, these are all weaker, and they're going to unzip. We're going to get a giant line of thunderstorms here. Everything's going to grow upscale, and we're going to get linear. And at that point, the threat is going to shift towards mostly a wind threat, pushing out towards the direction of these pink arrows here. But it is possible that we get a tornado here near Randolph pretty soon. Looks like Alan is getting into some precipitation in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen here. I'm going to go ahead and check it where exactly he is now. There he is. Yeah, he's just beginning to get into this, which is starting to look pretty concerning here down in Winnigan. This cell is beginning to look quite concerning, actually. So here's Alan up here. And that is the storm that we're looking at. So he's going to be headed south of this road to try and get south of the storm before it crosses the highway he just came from. If he can get south of it, he's going to have an incredible view of this thing, and hopefully will be able to give us a heck of a visual if it is able to put down a tornado. But of course, we hope that does not happen. There are all sorts of weather spotters in the region as well who will be able to get us a good look at this storm. Yeah, as the precipitation does look to be decently intense where Allen is at right now. It looks like we potentially have gotten another tornado warning. They've just canceled the one on this storm. I assume that's because we're about to get a new one issued here within moments. We probably see that pop up on the map here. I'm not seeing it yet. Of course, we do still have the storm in Kansas. They have issued a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for this cell as well, where they've got it tagged for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Actually, they canceled it. Forget that. It was there for all of like 0 seconds, basically. They upgraded it to a considerable and canceled it. That is quite bizarre. But there is an area of rotation near Randolph. I'm not seeing a tornado, at least on radar here. And we don't have anything confirmed on the ground at this point. It looks like they have. I don't know if they've replaced this warning in Missouri. Again, it's in the middle of a radar hole, so it's really difficult to tell exactly what this storm looks like. But at least at the upper levels, it looks pretty concerning. Yeah, we are. I mean, again, we are at 13,500 feet in the air here, but this is quite concerning looking at that height. Looks like we did have another tornado warning, or at least this one was updated, I should say, in Van Buren, Iowa. That was this one down here, was it not? They did continue this tornado warning, interestingly. I'm not a big believer in this, but they continued. They had canceled this tornado warning a minute ago, and now they've said it's continuing again out in Bonaparte, Hillsboro. So if you're in this region, definitely make sure you're staying in some sort of a sturdy structure or a basement if you've got one. Interior most room, no windows. As this sellout here in Randolph continues to look somewhat concerning, but I'm not the biggest believer in it in the world. They do have it moving east at 30 miles per hour, so if it's headed your way, it's going to be going that direction pretty quickly. It's not going to be long here until we have a good look from Allen at this storm in Missouri. Not the one that's currently on screen. I can go ahead and jump back to it. Go to the Des Moines radar, and then bada bing, bada boom. There we are. This cell right here in northern Missouri. Again, they opted to cancel the tornado warning, or at least lift it. They still have it tagged tornado possible with a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. So that part is still there, but no active tornado warning for this cell. In fact, no active tornado warning anywhere in Missouri right now. So that is a good sign. But there is a secondary region, or a second supercell, I should say, that has some rotation that is tornado possible tagged. It's a considerable severe thunderstorm here near Guilford, Conception Junction, and Stanberry. This entire region is definitely concerning. They do have it tornado possible tagged, like I said. This rotation is starting to look a little bit more robust here. They may go ahead and tornado warn this pretty soon here. Again, if they do go ahead and tornado warn this, it would be headed kind of in this general direction. It's most likely what the warning would look like. I'm really bad at drawing these warnings. Something like that. I'm not an artiste. Florian and Taylor and Adrian are out in Memphis right now. They are gunning north on I-55, potentially going to go live here in wherever they can get to. So to be determined on where they end up. They probably won't be going live tonight, but the possibility is there. We will have them live in the field tomorrow, however, without a shadow of a doubt. We'll have both them and Midwest Weather live and in the field. So at least 2 Storm Chaser cams going live tomorrow, which is going to be incredible news, as they did go ahead and issue that tornado warning in Missouri that we were just talking about moments ago. Yeah, as this thing does look pretty concerning. This is a radar indicated rotation, golf ball size hail with the storm as well. So definitely a pretty concerning one. Headed towards Gifford, La Plata, Gibbs, Millard, Brashear, and Kirksville. If you're in any of those towns, and eventually out towards Bering, Edina, and Herdland, or Edina, and Herdland, definitely make sure you are getting yourself to a basement or the interior-most room of a sturdy building. Get in the bathtub. No windows. Stay away from windows. As that tornado warning has just now popped up on our overlay here. Yeah, definitely a very concerning looking supercell, where you can see the CC drop here that could be indicative of some hail potentially with this storm. Yeah, very concerning supercell here in northern Missouri. You can see just the very tops of those hail cores extending up there, those pink regions. Again, I'm not horribly concerned with this storm at the moment. In terms of giant hail, I should say. But the tornado risk is absolutely there. This is one we are going to keep a very close eye on. I'm going to take another peek at our tornado warned storm out in Randolph here in Kansas, as that one is definitely looking solid. We could easily see ourselves get a tornado here near Randolph, Oldsburg, Fostoria, or Westmoreland, as that tornado warning does remain in effect. Again, we are getting a line of thunderstorms that's beginning to unzip here through large parts of Kansas and even through northern Missouri. And as we extend out, we can switch radars here. We do have a secondary little cluster of thunderstorms. We call this an MCS, a mesoscale convective system, where it's just a cluster of thunderstorms here. We do have that firing off as well, and that's going to pose the risk for possible embedded tornadoes, especially as it interacts with this boundary, which it is beginning to do. But the more significant risk is going to be for widespread wind damage here. Much more conditional of a tornado risk. Timothy in the chat, I appreciate you. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? They have condensed the tornado warning down a lot here. Just now east of Davenport. Whoa, stop that. And they do have this tagged as a destructive severe thunderstorm at this point. So we do have a destructive severe thunderstorm warning for 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Weather spotters have, in fact, confirmed that we've had 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. I'm going to see if I can figure out what was measured. This is also a tornado possible storm as well, so you could easily see a spin-up tornado with this as well. It says the wind threat is observed. It's not going to tell us exactly what that observed wind was. But if you're out here in northwestern Illinois here, areas like Sterling is a very populated area. If you're in Sterling and Rock Falls on either side of the river. You definitely want to very, very quickly run outside and bring inside any loose objects, or make sure your vehicle is stowed away in the garage, because you have a destructive severe thunderstorm headed your way with potentially 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And keep in mind that 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts are, in fact, enough to deal very low tier tornado damage. So it's basically like a giant wall of a very weak tornado smashing into you. So you need to be very careful with those types of storms, as we are going to go ahead and take a look here as Alan is kind of emerging from the shadows here. Let's go ahead and check in with Alan. We're going to go ahead and full screen him here. We're going to go ahead and check in with Alan here, as he is on the storm in northern Missouri right now, which has a pretty vicious looking velocity couplet at the upper levels, at least. So we're going to see what's going on with him here. It seems like he is just now inside of the warning polygon. Let's go ahead and find him. There he is. Yeah, there he is. He is right on this thing. So Alan is in a phenomenal position. We're going to go ahead and stay with him for a little while here. Shout out everybody at Rocksteady Boxing in Fenton, Missouri. And Brandon, I appreciate you in the chat, my friend, with Midwest Weather. This is Brandon's boy right here, who's out here on this storm right now. Again, here's Alan in the middle of your screen, right near Brandon Kopic. There's Alan. There's Brandon Kopic. There's probably other people that I know in this area, but I'm not particularly concerned with what anyone else is doing except Alan right now, as we have got his visual here on screen. As look at that monster shelf cloud. You can see the aqua coming into there as well, with and some of that greenage. This is often indicative of some pretty significant hail going on in there. Just some awesome structure. I wish it wasn't so grainy so we could appreciate that structure in all of its glory here. We have Mason now in the chat as well, the third member of Midwest Weather, saying, love the stream. I appreciate you, Mason. We love having you guys with Midwest Weather here. Unfortunately, Alan's going to have to stop going south at this point. He's going to have to go back north and then head east a little further, because he's not going to beat it south, unfortunately, here. But we can see what looks like potentially a wall cloud in the middle of your screen there. My goodness, that is one unbelievable structure that he's looking at. But he's about to punch back north for just maybe a mile or two, and then he's going to head east towards Brashear. So this is kind of where he is right now. And he's about to just go back a couple inches north to get on this road and head towards Brashear, or Brashear, however you pronounce it. I should know how to pronounce every town in Missouri because I live here, but that's just the way it goes. While he's doing that and facing away from the storm, we're going to exit full screen with him and go ahead and check in on our storm out in Kansas here. Out in Randolph, it does look to be a little bit better than it was before. It could be rain wrapped too at this point. Golf ball sized hail and radar indicated rotation is what this warning states right now, and it is going to continue for the next 24 minutes here. And then going back to Illinois, or at least the Davenport region at the Illinois and Iowa border, you can see we still have that very large, destructive, severe thunderstorm polygon on the map here. That is what I'm outlining in pink. Also around that, we do have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning here, and that is for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But these localized 80-mile-per-hour or greater wind gusts are congealed to this destructive warning in this pink, incredible polygon that I have drawn. My art skills are just truly unbelievable. So if you're in Sterling, you need to be paying close attention to this one here, because you have some significant winds heading directly towards you. They have gone ahead and lifted that tornado warning that was in the Davenport area, which makes sense. It didn't really look that promising to me. Meanwhile, we have a very significant looking couplet here near Millard in northern Missouri. And of course, Alan is right on this. He's going to try and get out ahead of it towards Brashear. And that's going to put him in a good position to give us a visual not too terribly long from now. It looks like he has positioned the camera for us so we can still follow along with him as he repositions here. And while he repositions, I got to take a quick bio break. I will be right back. Just a quick restroom break. Give me just a second here. Interesting. I'm not sure what this red flashing light is that Alan is seeing, but my goodness, look at this structure that Alan is seeing. Oh my goodness. Anytime these trees clear up, oh my goodness. Look at that structure. That is an unbelievable view of this supercell. Holy. Um, wow. Wow, 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 wow. That is just genuinely unbelievable. We are going to continue to stay with Alan here as he tries to get east of this thing. I'm going to keep my spotter network on the radar here so I can try to follow him. Of course, you guys can't see that, which is good because it gets messy when I put the dots on, but this structure is just unbelievable here. Apparently, I'm hearing there is a large tornado south of Kirksville, Missouri, which is where Alan is. um, he's not in a position to see it right now with the precipitation, but we are, in fact, hearing that there is a large tornado south of Kirksville. We don't have confirmation on this right now. This is just a report. Kirksville is a very, very populated area, so hopefully it is south of town and not impacting a lot of folks in that area. It is headed eventually towards Gibbs, Brashear, and Herdland. And we are encompassing Adair and Macon counties here in Missouri. We did just get another tornado warning, actually. We can go ahead and take a look at that. In Bureau, Henry, and Whiteside counties in Illinois. This is the same storm that just blew through Davenport. This is another one of those QLCS tornadoes. I'm going to move Alan down for 2 seconds here to show you this. So a little bit of a zoom out. Here we are in central northern Illinois. And as we get a little tighter here, we can see a nice little notch here going on. So definitely the potential for a spin up QLCS tornado or a tornado that's embedded in this line of thunderstorms here, kind of in front of it and ahead and on the outflow, excuse me, as I stumble over my words. But this is just north of Geneseo, Geneseo, maybe? Geneseo, that sounds better. And it's headed towards Hoople and eventually towards New Bedford and Deer Grove. So if you're in any of those towns, or if you're in Bureau, Henry, or Whiteside counties in Illinois, make sure that you are in a basement or in some sort of a sturdy structure, as we are going to put Alan back to full screen here, as he's got an unbelievable view of this supercell at the moment, as he's trying to get out ahead of it so we can get a visual on this storm. But himself, Brandon Kopic, and all sorts of other chasers are in a big old conga line, a big meteorological migration headed eastward towards Brashear right now. Next killing me. Okay, it looks like we have gotten another tornado warning issued out ahead of this same exact storm. So they've preemptively, they're expecting this one to stay tornadic here. I'm going to go ahead and show this briefly. As here you can see the second tornado warning here extending as far as Knox City. It's also going to encompass Edina, Bering, Herdland, Novelty, and Newark, and eventually towards LaBelle. So they've got this storm going pretty much straight east. And this is going to encompass Knox County out in, again, we're in northeastern Missouri at this point. Just a quick check in here on the cell out in Kansas. It's still looking like it could do something, but it's not unbelievably impressive. It's not screaming out to me by any stretch. I don't know if they've they've gone ahead and canceled it. It could recycle and get something going, but it is kind of a rain wrapped. I wouldn't say mess, but it's not as ideal as it could be. We're gonna stay here in Missouri because that is where our good friend Alan is. So I can put him full screen again. It looks like his feed is beginning to buffer a little bit, which is okay. Yeah, Alan's feed is a little bit laggy, so I'm going to go ahead and move him back to the bottom corner of the screen here. Give me just a second. There we go. So let's kind of talk about what's going on here out ahead of this storm. So one of the concerns that I have for this supercell being able to continue its life cycle is all of this precipitation out ahead of it. So any of this stuff that maybe dissipates and spits down some cooler air to the surface. So essentially, like here's my wonderful thunderstorm. When it dies, all of the mass that's in here has to go down to the surface and spread out in both directions because you have the surface down here and it can't go anywhere else. So if any of these storms collapse on themselves and push out all that downdraft air, all that cooler air, it's going to cool down the inflow region of our storm over here near Millard. And cooler inflow is not good for tornadoes. So if you want a tornado, that's a bad thing. But if you're a resident and you don't want tornadoes, or you care about the public like we do at Will Bratton WX, and you don't want tornadoes to happen, that's a good thing. So we want these storms to exist. We want them to contaminate the inflow. We want them to have strong outflow, as it does look like we've had another tornado warning issued in Kansas. It looks like they canceled the first one, and now they are issuing a second one here ahead of this storm again. I think they are expecting it to recycle, which definitely makes sense. It's 100% recycling. So good call from the National Weather Service office out there. We are headed towards Westmoreland, Laclede, and Louisville, or Louisville, depending on where you are in the world. We do have a confirmed tornado now near Adair and Macon counties here in Missouri. So we definitely have a confirmed tornado now via the National Weather Service. Weather spotters have confirmed this tornado located over Kirksville, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So this thing is moving quick. I imagine they're going to upgrade this polygon to a confirmed tornado warning as well. So Alan's going to have a good look at this here not too long from now, I would imagine. So we're going to go ahead and pull him up. And it looks like Alan has, where's he at? There he is. Yeah, it looks like Alan's in a pretty good spot right now. So he could definitely see it here. It's going to kind of move from left to right across your screen here, assuming he's facing the right direction right now, which I believe he is. Or maybe he's not. He might be looking east right now. I wish he had a compass on his screen. If he's looking east right now, then we're looking at a nothing burger. And what we should be looking at is behind him. But of course, he's got to drive, right? So he's alone right now. He doesn't have anyone in there to man the camera. So, you know, focus on driving first and then worry about the camera. They did go ahead and upgrade the other polygon associated with the same storm to a tornado, confirmed tornado warning as well. So we now have 2 confirmed tornado warning polygons on the map, but they are for 1 tornado. We did get another warning issued in Kansas, near Abilene, Kansas. I'm going to go ahead and show this. Never mind. Alan is kind of rounding the corner here. We need to see what he is seeing. But we did get another tornado warning in Kansas on a supercell that doesn't look unbelievably concerning right this second. I know I'm not showing that to you right now, but this cell could definitely get going in a little while. And this is near Abilene, Kansas, just north of. And that's going to include Dickinson County in Kansas. We have Dickinson, Pottawatomie counties in Kansas are the ones that are within tornado warnings right now. In Illinois, we have Bureau, Henry, and Whiteside in tornado warnings. And in Missouri, we have Knox, Adair, and Macon. As we're going to see if Allen is going to get a good old view on this confirmed tornado here in northern Missouri. As I'm continuing to monitor where he is at. It looks like he is still headed east at this moment. So he's not facing the right way. The tornado would be kind of behind him. So we're not going to have a view of it right this second, but he could turn around at any moment and give us the shot that we are looking for here. So we are going to stay right with him. Okay. Looks like we lost Allen for a brief second. He's back now. I'm going to exit him just for a very brief second here, as I do want to drag in the Storm Prediction Center's convective outlook or categorical outlook for tomorrow. I guess I'll make it small here in the middle of the screen. So we've got this 10% tornado risk near kind of the quad state region of Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, and Wisconsin. I will probably be out there chasing myself alongside Adrian, Taylor, Lorian. Who else is going to be out there? Alan's going to be out there again. It's possible that I decide to stay back and broadcast from the studio, but that is still to be determined at this point. Most likely I'm going to try and get out there and chase tomorrow because I know, especially if Will Bratton WX gets a little bigger, the opportunities that I will have to go chase myself are going to be even more limited. But we are looking to target possibly slightly more northern parts of this region. Kind of where I'm drawing this pink circle is where we're looking to target. Or at least where we were looking to target as of this morning. That's probably going to change again as we get to tomorrow. Moving that out of here, we can go ahead and put Allen back as it looks like he might be starting to turn around here in just a minute. But he is still headed east. Again, this is a confirmed tornado in Missouri right now. It was located south of Kirksville. And at 6:47, that was 4 minutes ago, we had further confirmation that the tornado was confirmed on the ground 15 miles west of Edina. And that is where Allen is for the most part. He is west of Edina right now. And again, I think that he is facing east right now. So he's not looking at the storm because he's traveling east, trying to get ahead of it, which is absolutely the right decision. So I think what we're looking at is some of that convection I talked about out ahead of this cell that could contaminate the inflow. So it looks like Allen is going to try and put his phone out the window, and oh my goodness. Allen is giving us the structure and shelf cloud shot of a lifetime here. My goodness, he just gave us a brief look at that there as he's putting the phone back up on the dashboard now. Yeah, clearly he is traveling east right now, which again, that is the right decision. He's got to get further east where he can set up and watch this storm kind of move across him here and not hit him. So that's what we're watching for him to do right now, or at least over the next few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and give an update on what this looks like on radar here. Let me go ahead and exit full screen for Allen. Here's Edina, and Allen himself is right over here near Herdland. And the storm is, again, we're looking at the upper levels, and it's kind of hard to see exactly what we're looking at. But you definitely got a broad region of rotation here at around 10,000 feet, and potentially some sort of secondary rotation going on the backside of the storm. But it is really difficult to tell given where we are in relation to all of the radar sites. We are in a giant radar hole at this point. Very tough one to work with. we're going to go ahead and put Alan full screen again, as again, he's got an incredible view here. Right now he's facing east, but the second that he turns around, he is just going to be giving us a crazy, crazy, crazy view on this confirmed tornado warned thunderstorm here. Out in Quincy, no one needs to go take shelter in Quincy as of right now. And I don't expect that they would need to, but perhaps about 20 minutes or so north of there, this could be headed their way, or maybe 30 minutes north of there, right near the tri-state border of Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois. That's kind of the direction this storm is headed in. But out in Quincy, I'm not seeing anything that would scream at me that people in Quincy need to take shelter at this point. It is if nothing else, Alan is kind of looking at nothing to the east, but it is a very pretty looking rain shaft that he is staring at as he continues to drive eastbound. And the feed that we are getting from Alan live on our stream is only about maybe 30 seconds or so behind, which is solely due to latency. There's nothing we can do about it. Oh, my neck is killing me. Because it looks like our own broadcast is having a little bit of some lag issues, so bear with me as hopefully that'll resolve itself within the next couple of seconds here. I think we're all right now. Okay. I don't know if that was noticeable on air or not, but yeah, it looks like Alan has pulled off the road here. Again, he is facing east. He might be taking a brief second to look at the radar and establish how far east he thinks he needs to go. So. Yeah, Alan out there just west of Edina in northern Missouri in a giant radar hole where we do have a confirmed tornado warning right now. Oh, there he is. There's Alan right there. Looks like he might be grabbing the camera potentially to to flip us around and give us a view of this storm. But he is in fact out of the vehicle, at least for the moment. A couple other visuals I can bring in while Alan is setting up his camera. This is some more photos that were taken by Andrew Dale of the tornado from earlier today in northern Missouri and around the Iowa border. That's a heck of a tornado. This one here is insane. That's the same one that Alan had a view of as well. But yeah, just some great work there from Andrew Dale. Go ahead and repost that. Yeah, Alan is out of the vehicle, so we don't really have a view on what he's seeing. We did just get another tornado warning in Pottawatomie County in Kansas, I believe. Or perhaps this is the same one. Nothing has been confirmed, although this one is looking a little bit better here on radar. And then the second one here, just north of Abilene, not as impressive, still solid. This tornado warning is still active. Both of these tornado warnings are still active here out in Kansas. So these are Dickinson and Pottawatomie counties out in Kansas. Meanwhile, in Illinois, we can take a quick jump over and look at what's going on there. This is still a QLCS threat. This one's probably going to get canceled, maybe. There's still a little bit of a notch going on here where we could see a spin-off tornado. But our main concern is with what Alan's doing. It looks like he is going further east. He took some pictures. I don't know if he's going to send those pictures to me. But if he does, we can get a visual on what he was looking at just moments ago as he wasn't able to turn the camera around and look at it. for more than a second there. I wasn't able to full screen it in time, but he is continuing eastbound, at least for the time being, towards and through Edina. Let's just figure out where he's at. Let's take a look. There he is. There's Allen right there, right next to Bryce Shelton. Himself and other folks are headed eastbound towards Edina. He's going to hit a fork in the road where he's going to need to make a decision if he's going to dive south and then look at it, or if he's going to continue east and then eventually try to follow it north later on. If I were him, I would probably dive south to where Jared Carlson and Isaac Polanski are. That's probably about where I would go. I would go there and continue south a couple more miles until he was clear of it, and then follow it right back up that same road north. I'm going to go ahead and full screen him, as he does have a heck of an anvil over him right now. I'll give him that. You can see those darker clouds way above him. It looks like we are experiencing a couple of occasional lag spikes on the stream on my end, so I apologize for that. Hopefully it is not degrading the quality too badly here. Meanwhile, Alan's stream is running great right now, although maybe we lost him for a second. It looks like we are now looking at Discord DMs. It was Brandon there. Oh boy, okay, we've got those photos, I think, about to be sent my way. I think Brandon right now, the producer for Midwest Weather, is about to send me these photos to show on stream potentially here. I think that's what we're watching him do in Discord right at this very moment, potentially. I'm gonna go ahead and take him off full screen so that that stuff's not being blasted. Although, oh boy, never mind. We're going right back to full screen. I lied. Alan has changed the angle of the camera here, and look at that shelf cloud. My goodness. That is some unbelievable structure coming from Alan here. Again, he's now in Herdland, Missouri, and he's headed towards Edina. He's basically in Edina at this point. I believe the reason that we're seeing this is because he's going south right now at that fork in the road I mentioned before. So at the right-hand side of his vehicle, yeah, that should be right. We are definitely watching him go southbound right now, and we are seeing that giant shelf. And if he is able to get a little further south, he's going to be staring right up the inflow of this storm here, which again, this was a confirmed tornado. It is not currently confirmed anymore. They have lifted the confirmation on this. And the previous tornado warning has been, well, I guess it hasn't been canceled. However, the most applicable tornado warning is in fact lifted for the time being. Yeah, that's just some unbelievable structure here in northern Missouri coming out of Allen with Midwest Weather, by the way. If you're not following them on other platforms, we have gone ahead and signed them as one of our storm chasing groups, so definitely give them a follow on all platforms. Mason, Allen, and Brandon deserve it. They are some incredible guys, and we're super excited to have them on here at Will Bratton WX. Will Bratton Weather. I always like saying WX better than weather. I don't know why. Will Bratton Weather sounds better, but Will Bratton WX is just what I always end up saying. Anyway, Alan is continuing to dive south here as of about 30 seconds ago. And it looks like he might be just now beginning to get a little bit of precipitation blown at him here, or maybe not. That might just be the quality. Yeah, okay. He's still got a little bit of a ways to go until that precipitation would get to him. Hopefully he's able to beat it south, and we're able to get a really good look at this thing as he continues to follow it northeast from that point forward. I'm going to take a look at this tornado warning that was issued in Bureau, Illinois here. This is ahead of that same line of thunderstorms. So basically, a line of thunderstorms that could produce a tornado is probably the language they've used here. Severe thunderstorms located along a line, basically. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts are also possible with this as well. So if you're in Wyandotte, Princeton, Hollowayville, Ladd, Cherry, Arlington, Malden, Lamoille, Ohio, Walnut, or Manlius, or Sheffield, make sure that you are getting to the interiormost room of a sturdy structure or a storm shelter or basement if you have one. As in the bottom left-hand corner, it does look, it looks like some images are being attached to me right now in real time. So I can possibly show those in just a couple of minutes here. Okay. we'll exit full screen for the time being. He's leaking the DMs. Yeah, we are most concerned about this storm out here in Missouri that Alan is on right now. Previously had a confirmed tornado. Meanwhile, around the map, we still have that tornado warning out in Kansas. One of those has been lifted, but we still have one. That's for Pottawatomie County here. And then we have another line starting to unzip throughout portions of Iowa, as well as this cluster of thunderstorms, this mesoscale convective system here, surrounding Des Moines, really, on all sides. So we're going to go ahead and get Alan full screened here. It looks like Alan might be just underneath that shelf cloud at this point. He is trying to continue to push south. My goodness. And he should be just nearly out of it at this point. And at that point, he'll be able to turn around and give us a nice look right up the gullet here at this storm. Yeah, he should be very, very, very close to a good position right now. We're going to go ahead and take them off full screen for the time being, while it looks like they are transitioning into a different phase right now as Alan is trying to reposition. But here on our radar, what we can see is there's your area of rotation near Edina at this point. You can go ahead and circle that. They have gone ahead and updated this tornado warning on the previously confirmed tornado. They do have it remaining in effect. The last time it was confirmed on the ground was 16 minutes ago now. And that rotation is now over Edina, where our good friend Alan is diving south of it right there. There's Alan. So here's your area of rotation, and here is Alan right here, trying to get south so he can get us a good visual on this storm. I assume he's going to turn around and face north at any minute here, so we can get a visual on it. But here is his stream again as he's continuing to dive south. Thank you very much. DoorDash has arrived. Today's meal of the night is Raising Cane's. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, Coco. My dog has now entered the room as well. We got all sorts of friends. We have tornado warnings, Coco. I can't be playing with you at this moment. We're worrying about canes. As Alan is looking at possibly a lowering here, it might be some scud. It's a little difficult to say with how grainy it is. But I'm going to put myself in a position to be able to get my meal of the day in here for just a minute. Okie dokie. I know we had Culver's on the last broadcast. Today we are looking at Raising Cane's, one of my personal favorite fast food places in the world. Unbelievable establishment, Raising Cane's. Absolutely love it. As Alan's stream is a little bit laggy here still, but we're going to continue to monitor this very closely while I also monitor some dinner. Okay. We do have a couple visuals of the wall cloud, or excuse me, the shelf cloud that Alan was looking at just moments ago. I'm going to show that really quickly. Let's exit full screen here. And here it is. Here's a look at that beautiful shelf cloud. But wait, folks, there's more. We've got a second photo here. Just unbelievable structure on this supercell. You can see the aqua coming through there. It's often indicative of some larger hail in that hail core there. But this is a very, very powerful supercell here that Alan is on right now in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and now all the way across your screen. I don't know about you guys, but I'm also a pretty big Dr. Pepper enjoyer. But only really when I'm doing when I'm storm chasing or when I need a little bit of caffeine. They did go ahead and lift the other confirmed tornado warning that was just west of the current polygon of the storm that Alan's on. Alan has just said something about it looking extremely disorganized right now. I wish I was there, man. I wish I could see it a lot clearer than I can. Yeah, it looks like Alan is just posted up here. He's just going to kind of watch this thing go right on by to his north. And then he's going to follow it right up that direction and have a hopefully a really good look at it. Right now, Alan is, in fact, just south of Edina. Okay, so Alan has just said he's seeing some easterlies, suggesting that there is still some pretty healthy inflow. And it looks like he's going to get moving here. Basically, he's glorified commentator. We did just get a confirmed tornado warning in Dickinson, Kansas now. It's a very small tornado warning polygon. Weather spotters have confirmed it. It was located near Abilene, Kansas. And this is for Dickinson County, Kansas. I'm going to go ahead and take Alan off full screen here for a second so I can show you this. Here is the supercell that is actually managing to stay very discreet near Abilene, Enterprise, and Chapman. The environment here isn't as favorable as it is in parts of southern Iowa and northern Missouri, but we've got a tornado here, and this supercell has got unimpeded inflow. A lot of this air hasn't really been used. Instability and resources haven't been used up. All the fruits and veggies are sitting there waiting for this guy to grow. So this is one we're definitely going to continue to watch as well as Alan continues to reposition here. But of course, since we do have Alan in the field today, that is going to be our main priority right now. I'm seeing a Miss Deanna Hartledge Fisher in the chat saying, great live stream. I sent it to my son who's staffing at SF Scout Ranch in Knob Lick, Missouri. You are absolutely welcome. I appreciate you trusting us with your severe weather coverage and watching me eat some Raisin Canes while we look at tornadoes. I know you guys can't hear Alan. Unfortunately, we're going to try and fix that for future broadcasts. I'm not sure exactly what he's saying. Something about the way that today's risk zones have validated or verified, I guess. It does look like this storm is significantly weaker. I'm not seeing anything on radar. It kind of looks like it's collapsed. And I think that's kind of what Alan is saying here as well. It's really hard for me to make out what he's saying. It's very, very quiet. But I think we're going to go ahead and take him off full screen and put our focus on the confirmed tornado in Kansas right now, as it looks like the supercell that Alan is on has completely fallen apart. But we do have a confirmed tornado near Enterprise and Chapman and Abilene out in Dickinson County, Kansas. Peyton said he's heading out. Hill State, my friend. I really appreciate you stopping by. We do still have a couple of QLCS tornadoes possible in Illinois and Bureau and Whiteside counties. Something definitely worth mentioning here. And I apologize for the food break, but once we're done, or once I'm done eating here, I'll be good for the rest of the night. All right. A brief conversation here that's worth having. I mean, maybe not really right now. Well, we've got a pretty scary looking velocity couplet and a tornado probably on the ground here near Enterprise. Canes or Chick-fil-A sauce? And I'm talking just the sauce. If we're talking about things as a whole, we can have a whole different conversation. But I need to hear from everybody watching right now, Cane's or Chick-fil-A sauce. For me, there's a clear winner. We do still have a handful of considerable severe thunderstorm warnings, excuse me. Two in Kansas and Ellsworth, Rice, Pottawatomie, Riley, and Wabun counties, and then also in Illinois in Lee and Ogle counties, and in Michigan in Midland and Saginaw counties. Mason in the chat saying that Cane sauce has got it the best. I agree. Not only do I agree, but I agree passionate. I'm doing my best to eat as quickly as possible here so I can be back in business here for the rest of the night. I am shutting out right now. Okay. This velocity couplet is still looking pretty concerning here in Enterprise and in Chapman here in Dickinson County, Kansas. Again, I appreciate everyone bearing with me while I sit here and eat my dinner. And I am very grateful for my mother who actually stopped and picked it up on the way home for me. That was very kind of her. Ben says he prefers Chick-fil-A sauce, and he's got some homework. He's talking about it. We're starting the conversation here. He said it's a fundamental difference in taste. One is savory with a kick, and the other is better honey mustard. I prefer the savory and with a kick any day, all day. I like Chick-fil-A sauce. Don't get me wrong. I could eat it plain also, but I could bathe in cane sauce. Yeah, we definitely have a pretty significantly concerning notch here on the storm near Enterprise, where we did have a confirmed tornado a little while ago. The last time this thing was confirmed on the ground was 9 minutes ago. So it's possible that the tornado has lifted. However, the couplet looks pretty concerning. And they did actually just drop the confirmation. How about that? I've been speaking things into existence all night tonight. And that's not going to always happen, but tonight it most certainly has. But man, that couplet, this looks pretty impressive here in Enterprise. So we now have count them, zero tornado warning, or zero confirmed tornadoes at this current moment, which is a good thing. Again, we don't want people getting hurt. All right, we're almost there. A couple more minutes, and I will be finished with my food. Deanna says, I have to say Chick-fil-A because my husband and my son Brandon, the one who's currently staffing at SBRF, both work at South County Chick-fil-A, and they are paying for Brandon's college tuition. Man, I should have gotten a job at Chick-fil-A. Alrighty, I do have a little bit of news regarding Alan's stream. They are going to be cutting the broadcast, so we are going to go ahead and switch back to our standard mode here. As they are going to be preparing for a big day tomorrow. We're going to have multiple chasers out tomorrow. It's going to be a heck of a day. Hopefully, I will be able to get out there myself as well. As they have issued a second really bizarre shaped polygon here on this Kansas storm. That is, let's just disable the radar and admire how odd this polygon is for a moment here. Let's just look at this. Like, what in the world is this polygon? And I respect it. I love it. I love it from the National Weather Service. They got a kite drawn up here on the map, and I respect that. But yeah, this is, jokes aside, this is a concerning storm here that could easily put down a tornado at any moment. It's got very, very clean established inflow here. It's hooking out well, and there's nothing stopping it at this point. There's no other cell out in front of it that's going to suffocate it or anything like that. So it is entirely up to it and its environment on whether or not it's going to produce a tornado. Again, because it just produced one not long ago. I do want to give big thanks to Midwest Weather and Alan and Brandon and Mason for putting on a good stream tonight. And Alan got himself on a very large tornado earlier, which we have on Twitter, if you haven't seen that yet, that we were showing earlier. And that supercell was pretty crazy. It lasted about 2 hours straight. Okay, it's possible here. Probably not. Never mind. I take that back. I take that back. I was about to say it's possible we have a debris signature, but no. No, we do not. Okay. I'm on to the last part of this balanced breakfast here. I'm on to the Texas toast, and then I am done wasting your time sitting here eating. They continue to push out updates for this tornado warning in Dickinson County. You can see it just shrunk a little bit, the polygon there. And I assume they're going to go ahead and cancel the earlier of the two. We're going to keep things going just a little bit longer here. I'm going to take, we could end up going quite a bit longer. But at least for now, I'm going to take a look at some of the environment here, and we're going to try and make a decision on how late we're going to stay on air here. Looks like things really will begin to fizzle out within the next 2 to 3 hours. So we'll probably stay on another hour or two, maybe 3. We'll see. It just depends. But yeah, we've had a heck of a broadcast going here so far. The Storm Prediction Center looks like they've changed up the outlook for tomorrow potentially as well. Maybe not. I might be seeing things. I may be misremembering what I saw earlier. Yeah, we've got a tornado risk tomorrow right in my neck of the woods here in Missouri, where we've also seen tornadoes tonight. So northern Missouri is where we've seen them tonight, at least. And I think it's going to be about the same tomorrow, especially into Iowa, eastern parts of Iowa tomorrow. Okay. Let's take another look-see here. Yeah, probably not a tornado on the ground. I would say definitely not a tornado on the ground. That could be radar confirmed anyway. So that's good. And we're going to continue to follow this one. This isn't our only warning. We do have the QLCS little spin-up tornado threat in Bureau County, Illinois as well. And they have finally gone ahead and canceled the tornado warning for Knox County, Missouri on the cell that Alan was on a little while ago. Okay. Food time is over. I'm going to quickly run to throw this away, throw my trash away, and I'll be back in 2 seconds here, and we'll continue our severe weather coverage for the tornado risk throughout the rest of the night. Alrighty. We are here. We are live. We are up and at 'em. And we are back in business without we are back in business without the issue of trying to eat food. That was my wonderful dinner of the night, courtesy of my mother, who was kind enough to pick up food for me. As I am going to grad school for the next 2 years. So over the summer now, I am currently living with my parents. It didn't make sense to move out. It would be a large waste of money. So I am still living at home like I'm a little boy. Okay, here we go. We're back in business. We have these 2 tornado warning polygons. We have these 3 tornado warning polygons. I've been manifesting things into reality lately. This is looking extremely concerning, to be honest with you. Yeah, we could easily. There's definitely some sort of radar interference here causing this spike. But we could easily see a tornado on the ground here south of Enterprise and headed towards Navarre in a short amount of time. Scott, I see you in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well out there in South Carolina. This same supercell does have a flash flood warning as well. We actually have like 6. We have 7 flash flood warnings right now across Iowa, Kansas. What else do we have? Or is that? Hold on. Yeah, okay, Iowa. I was like, is that Idaho? I was like, I don't think that is Idaho. That would have really surprised me. We have Iowa, Kansas, North Carolina, Vermont, Missouri, and then 2 in Texas. All sorts of flash flood warnings around the map right now. In other news, we do have another supercell that looks like it's trying to get going and potentially wrap up for a tornado near Wamego and headed towards Bellevue in St. Mary's, Delia, and Emmett. This is a considerable warned supercell here. It is not tornado possible tagged, though. They could definitely end up issuing a tornado warning for this if it continues to notch out like this. Did Timothy just get banned for saying 6-7 in the chat by the bot? That is so funny. I saw that, Timothy. That is not an intended purpose of the bot. That was kind of funny, though. Anyway, we have we have 3 tornado warning polygons all for this storm. They really only need this one, but it has been moving around. I assume they're gonna. I guess maybe they won't cancel them. It depends how their office does it. We're also going to jump out to Michigan, where we've just had a new tornado warning. We're here in the southern peninsula of Michigan here, as we do have a supercell that fired off ahead of the line. Okay, so this is something that we were watching for earlier today, and we do have a tight rotating couplet just south of Munger. This is definitely a storm to watch, as it is also tapping into an environment that hasn't been touched, and the line of storms behind it is still a good ways away, all the way on the other side of Saginaw. So this is going to be a supercell we're going to want to watch very closely here. Let's go ahead and get our storm motion from the warning here. Yeah, definitely got a good couplet here. We are only 4,500 feet in the air. I'm not really seeing anything that resembles a hail core on this storm. I think this kind of popped up pretty quickly. Yeah, this definitely popped up pretty quickly. I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple further back radar scans here. We're going to take a little bit of a better look at this here. Again, we are in the southern peninsula of Michigan, just east of Bay City and Saginaw. So very, very, very populated regions. As you can see, this supercell kind of just coming out of nowhere over the last like 20 minutes or so. And yeah, we've got a tight velocity couplet here. Definitely the type that could put down a tornado. So if you're in this region, if you're in Munger, Fairgrove, Akron, definitely want to take this one very seriously and go to an interior room of a building with no windows, or a basement if you got one. Whatever you can, the best storm shelter that you can get to, that's where you want to be. Also happening in Illinois, we have this similar tornado warning we talked about earlier. I believe they're just going to let this one expire, though. This one should pretty much be canceled or done. Yeah, it is. Let's see how much time is it? They did not cancel it. It's only got 5 minutes left, so they are going to let that one expire in central Illinois, central northern Illinois, I should say. It's not one that I am worried about right now. The most concerning cell in terms of right this second is definitely the one here in Enterprise. It is a little bit, yeah, it's definitely weakening a little bit. So that's good. We're going to continue to monitor this one and see how it trends over the next couple of minutes, but it does have really, really good inflow here. Apparently, Bay City is the home of Madonna, and they have a mural of her there. I actually did not know that. I'll be honest with you, man. Michigan is a state that I know surprisingly little about. Like genuinely, I know surprisingly little about Michigan. I know Detroit's there, man. I know we've got the lower and the upper peninsula. Like I know the very basics about Michigan, but I don't know a lot about Michigan. It's a very populated state, and obviously it's in the Great Lakes region. I mean, Great Lakes are gorgeous. Also going on in Kansas, we have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning here for 60-mile-per-hour winds and golf ball sized hail for a large region, really north west of Wichita by a little while, near McPherson, Conway, and Windham and Little River. This is going to be out in McPherson County and also Ellsworth and Rice counties here in Kansas. So this is one with a lot of strong winds. Nothing like unbelievably crazy with the winds, but definitely a decent hail core that has been dropping some hail. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here. It actually almost resembles to me like it might be weakening. Let's see if we go back. It is in fact weakening. I'm like a magician recently. I've been getting either lucky or I'm intelligent with some of these call outs, but it does look like this storm is weakening a little bit, which is good for the folks in this region. Obviously, we are primarily worried about this tornado risk here, because this thing just looks very bizarre. This thing just looks quite strange. Yeah. Interesting storm here. 33 minutes remain on the tornado warning, with just radar indicated rotation here. Still, we're not looking at anything unbelievably, jumping out at me like, hey, there's going to be a tornado within moments here. And yeah, Tanner saying in the chat, nothing wrong with that. Smart with money. I'm assuming he's referring to me living at home with mom and dad, which is, I would agree. That is why I'm doing it. I tend to be pretty fiscally responsible. That's why I'm even able to invest in starting this business. I am super excited about this stuff that we've got going on here. So exciting. It seems like Mason got timed out for something for 5 seconds. I had a message deleted by the bot as well. It's cracking me up with you guys like making the bot mad. I'm not sure why the bot is doing some of the things that it is, but let's check in on our supercell up here near Munger in Michigan. It's not looking quite as impressive as it did moments ago, but again, it has all the time in the world to cycle and do whatever it wants. It's going to use whatever resources it wants. Let's draw some circles on the map. Here's where the cell is, and there is just nothing out ahead of it. The only thing that it has to worry about is this line of storms kind of nudging into the back of it, which are most likely going to be moving. That line of storms is probably going to be moving a lot quicker than it. Maybe. It's kind of hard to tell in just a couple of frames here. I can pull a couple more. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, it's definitely moving a lot slower than those storms. So this supercell here is another maybe 20 to 30 minutes or so until it starts to get ingested into this line of thunderstorms. So if it's going to put down a tornado, it's going to happen within that time frame, and it's going to happen somewhere in this tornado polygon, probably towards Fairgrove, Akron, or Unionville. It would need a little bit of time to recycle, as it doesn't look quite so amazing on radar right now. The tornado warning here in Bureau County in Illinois is probably going to expire, within seconds here. They're going to let it expire all the way out, but we still have a significant wind threat. You can just see these winds. Those bright reds should stick right out to you here. You have some very significant winds ahead of this line of thunderstorms here. So something you're going to have to pay very close attention to if you're honestly anywhere in central or northern Illinois. The winds are pretty intense. Meanwhile, in northern Missouri, things are becoming much more linear, as you can see with this line of thunderstorms here. Uh, just a giant area of thunderstorms. Wind and hail is going to be the primary risk associated with those. We also have these storms in southern Iowa becoming a little bit more of a cluster with a linear segment firing off that we had mentioned earlier on today's forecast behind everything. So here's this mesoscale convective system, this cluster of thunderstorms here in this pink circle. And here is a little bit of storm training going on with a line of thunderstorms developing behind in the wake of everything that just pushed forward earlier throughout this evening. Let's take a look. We do have some rotation here. I don't know if this is going to be a better radar for this. Definitely got some rotation there. So it'll be interesting to see. It's in a slight radar hole. So it'll be interesting to see what the National Weather Service does here. But we've got a juicy hail core here on a supercell that is not yet part of a line. That hail core is not up to date. Why is it not giving me my most up-to-date frame? That's quite annoying, but that's okay. A pretty strong supercell here. And you can see, let me go ahead and load in a couple more frames and I'll show you what's happening to this cell. Things are really beginning to grow upscale and become linear all over the map, essentially. As our Illinois tornado warning has expired, so we're down to just the Kansas and Michigan cells. Things are growing kind of like this. And you can watch that happen. Watch this gap between these two cells, between this like cluster of thunderstorms here and then our supercell in this circle. Watch what happens to this gap as we go back in time. You can see it's just some widespread showers in there and the supercell is going to develop and it's eating some of the stuff to its south. You can see that gap beginning to close down here as these cells begin to kind of build towards each other. And so that's going to limit the amount of time that this supercell has to survive and remain discrete. It's also going to limit the tornado threat once they combine. At that point, it's going to shift to mostly a wind threat. We're also getting into the later hours of the evening, and eventually we're going to be getting towards sunset. And at that point, we're definitely going to be looking at a more significant wind threat rather than a tornado threat. As this cell here does not, it's not impressing me a ton. It's also not, I'm not sitting here saying I think it sucks. We could definitely see a tornado out of this cell near Akron or Fairgrove. So if you're in this tornado warning polygon, definitely make sure that you are still taking this one very seriously and staying safe. We are going to make sure that the Nightbot settings are fixed by the next broadcast, by the way, so that we don't have people getting timed out for no reason. Alrighty, let's check back in on the Kansas storm here. Still looking all right. This thing just will not go in a straight line. I mean, my goodness. This cell has changed directions like literally 4 or 5 times. And when I say change directions, I don't mean dramatically. I just mean it hasn't followed the path that we would expect it to go in. And you can kind of watch that happen here. And that's mostly because it's interacting with something. Yeah, I mean, you can watch it's kind of getting stalled out right here over Chapman. So this cell has pretty much kind of stalled out. I think it's because it was trying to move off to the east, but it's kind of getting swallowed by this line of convection as things are beginning to grow upscale. Again, this is going to significantly limit our tornado risk here, as they have gone ahead and updated this tornado polygon here. Things are going to continue to grow upscale, so we're probably not going to stay live too terribly much longer. But we do have this tornado warning in Michigan that I still want to pay close attention to right now. It's still looking all right. And it's got a little bit of time. It's got another 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20. If it's really feeling like it wants to get moving, maybe it's got 25 before it's going to continue to push into areas like Fairgrove, Akron, Unionville, maybe towards Bach, Gagetown, or Cass City. All of those regions are ones to watch for this supercell before it gets ingested by this giant line of thunderstorms. So we're going to keep a close eye on this one, and if it dissipates and things are continuing to grow upscale and stay pretty much linear, we're probably going to end the broadcast for the night because we are expecting tomorrow night to be a very significant night in terms of severe weather. I'll probably be out there chasing myself, so if that happens, we're not going to have a broadcast tomorrow night. But what we will have is content being pushed out on social platforms from our storm chase. So that's kind of the plan. Jumping back to our cell over here in Kansas, near Skibbity over here. It is looking like it's trying to tighten up just a little bit again, like it wants to get going. Oh yeah, it's most certainly trying to tighten up and get going again here. And this is going to be kind of parked just southeast of Enterprise, possibly moving slightly towards Woodbine or Navarre. But this thing's hardly moving. I mean, it's hardly moving. Oh my. Okay. Maybe it's slightly falling apart a little bit on this next scan. It looks a little bit more broad. It's not looking quite as concerning here, which is good. But again, it does have this incredibly clean, established inflow. It's pretty surprising, to be honest with you, but there it is. I mean, you can literally see it. You could stick it kind of looks like someone stuck a finger right into the storm and just like poked it in the side, and it stayed like that. Tanner says, I bagged a tornado in Woodbine in like 2019. It was hardly a tornado, but it was in fact one. Yeah, fair enough. If you have any kind of circulation at the surface that is connected to the mesocyclone, you in fact have a tornado. Doesn't always have to be a fully condensed cloud. It does, however, have to be connected to the main mesocyclone. A lot of people will report land spouts or gustnados as tornadoes, and that's just not true. I see it all the time. But that's just the way it goes. Looking again here in Michigan, it's not looking as amazing. It's kind of recycling itself to the south just a little bit. It's got time to recycle. As Tanner says, his 2019 tornado in Woodbine, Kansas was narrow like a pencil. We have had another update pushed out to one of these warnings. I heard the chime. Alrighty. We do still have a couple of considerable severe thunderstorm warnings. One's here in northern Missouri. And this is, again, let's keep in mind when we look at these storms, while these storms are not really posing much of a tornado threat or honestly even that much of a hail threat, they are posing a little bit of a wind threat. But most importantly, there's a lot of precipitation being dumped here and more winds coming in to areas that have already been hit by some very strong storms earlier in the day. If you remember Unionville right here, that's circled, it's kind of hard to read, but right there in pink, that's where our good friend Alan captured that very large and dangerous tornado. It was right near Unionville. So these are areas that have already been hit by storms once, if not multiple times today. We already saw in the Trenton area, multiple tornadic supercells came through that area. Two of them were even holding hands. It was basically touching each other. So this whole area is going to be at a big risk for flash flooding. And we do see one very large flash flooded warning polygon here on the map in northern Missouri. Says they've got at least a half inch to 2.5 inches of rain with additional amounts of up to 2 inches. So we could be seeing as much as 4.5 inches of rain. And 4.5 inches is a lot of rain. Meanwhile, in Abilene, out in Kansas, they've also issued a flash flood warning for 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain with an additional 1.5 to 2.5 as well in the next hour. and additional amounts of 1 to 2 also possible. I believe that would be for later in the night. They have gone ahead and issued a 4th tornado warning polygon. The map is getting quite messy here. They need to I wish they would just clean this up a little bit. It's kind of confusing to the average consumer, but we do have 4 tornado warnings on the map here. I mean, that's just interesting. Let's just disable the radar and admire the glory here. It looks like you've got a window in the middle of this. I mean, you've literally got a window, like the Windows logo in the middle of this. Anyway, not that that is very relevant, but we do, again, still have the risk for a tornado here near and headed towards Woodbine. That's what we're looking at. We're going to continue to monitor this one. Yeah, this polygon cluster is quite obnoxious. I wish they would just clean this up, but that is okay. This one's going to expire in 4 minutes, and that'll help us out at least a little bit. 19 minutes on that one. 19 minutes on like 2 of them, I think, actually. And then 49 minutes on the new one. And now that is in Dickinson and Morris counties now. So we've expanded into Morris County in Kansas. We are going to take another look at our supercell up here in Michigan, which is still not looking amazing. And that line of thunderstorms is beginning to catch up to it very quickly. This is kind of looking more like a cluster at this point than a supercell. It's not the most robust supercell. I would kind of expect that this one's going to fall apart a little bit here. Yeah, they did go ahead and cancel this tornado warning. That's not surprising. So I think this line of thunderstorms is going to continue to push into it, and it's just going to swallow all of this stuff that is out here. It's kind of dissipating. I mean, you can almost see these lower precipitation targets right here where I just drew that pink. And it's kind of, let me just go ahead and zoom in real tight so I can show this a little better. But you've got this, oh, okay. You've got this region in here of targets where you've basically got your downdraft pushing down and blowing all this stuff out in all directions at this point. Is kind of what it looks like to me. Telltale sign of a supercell that is completely collapsing in on itself, which makes sense why they would cancel that tornado warning. So we are down to 1 tornado warning, or 1 at least tornado possible like supercell, but we have 4 tornado warning polygons on this 1 tornado possible supercell. So that's just the world we're living in right now. And this is approaching Woodbine. It's not really moving very quickly. The line of thunderstorms is trying to pull it to the northeast. Here, I can go ahead and visualize this. The line of thunderstorms is trying to pull it to the northeast in the direction of this pink arrow. I can make that line as thick as possible there. Meanwhile, this individual supercell in its updraft is trying to propagate down this direction. It kind of looks like I just drew the like the symbols for male and female. So that's what's going on there, and it's causing the cell to mostly just kind of stall out and sit in this area. I can go ahead and pull a few more frames back and show you what we were looking at a little earlier about how this cell just kind of sits here. I don't know why I'm following the motion here. I didn't mean to do that either. My goodness. There we go. Yeah, you can just see the supercell right here over Chapman, and it just kind of stays there right over Chapman. And it hasn't moved much. I mean, we are just south of Chapman. So, and that was over the course of like an hour, I think, everything I just showed you there. That was almost an hour. Yeah, just shy of an hour. So, you know, not moving very quickly here, kind of stalled out, which honestly surprises me. It hasn't been able to get going a little better because it's just been getting clean inflow without moving. It's just sitting there, sucking in inflow. So, yeah, we'll see what happens to it. To be honest with you, it's not looking too terribly concerning right now. I did want to take a moment to take a look. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Don't do that. I wanted to take a look at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook from today, and specifically this tornado outlook. And I wanted to talk about the fact that I felt excuse me, I said the tornado outlook. I just wanted to talk about how I feel as though this is kind of verified pretty nicely, to be honest with you. Our most significant supercells and tornadoes were in this region, really. Or I guess, yeah, I mean, in the 10% region. There's no reason for me to draw on it when it's already drawn there for me by the Storm Prediction Center. Um, we saw the best supercells with the most tornadoes, at least in that region. We also saw a couple of a couple of tornadoes in like the central Iowa kind of region. Unexpected was that supercell that became tornadic here in Michigan. That was not something I particularly expected. And we also did see some tornadic development in Wisconsin. So again into Illinois as well. So we've kind of seen everything. This is verified pretty well. I don't know if the hail threat has verified quite so well outside of maybe northern Missouri, but the wind threat has definitely verified pretty well as well. So a good job by the Storm Prediction Center. Taking a look at tomorrow's outlook that we're going to be chasing on. This is the tornado risk for tomorrow. I'm probably going to be headed up right towards the southern end of this region here. And I'll be there with Taylor, Lorian, and Adrian. Meanwhile, it looks like they just issued another tornado warning out in Michigan. So I'm gonna hold that thought and we're gonna see what's going on up there. Okay, they have apparently reignited this tornado warning. It had said it was canceled moments ago, but they have instead shrunk it down, and I'm just not a believer in this at all. I don't think this needs to have a tornado warning, to be honest with you, but that's okay. Better be safe than sorry in a lot of these situations. Meanwhile, you might be wondering, man, these storms look really small. Why are there these giant severe thunderstorm warning polygons ahead of them? I'll tell you why. It's that same wind threat that we've been dealing with the whole night. That is just not the radar I wanted to click on. It's the same wind threat that we've been dealing with the whole night. All of these storms are going to pose a very significant wind threat as they continue to push to the east. As I rip my headphone out of my ear here. So all of these are going to continue to pose that wind threat. This is not a hail producing event. It's possible we get a tornado or two. Okay, actually, they did cancel this one, I think. Clearly, this is the new tornado warning that they issued. I'm not sure exactly what they're seeing here. Apparently, radar indicated rotation. It would help if I went to the nearest radar. Okay, there it is. Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely worth warning here. You got a little bit of a notch here. One of those QLCS tornadoes, and you can see it clear as day right here. You can see that notch, that little change in direction right there. That is exactly the type of thing you look for when dealing with these QLCS tornadoes. So that's what we're looking at there. A little QLCS tornado is possible in the northern part of the lower peninsula of Michigan. And this is going to make up, let's see, Alcona, Oscoda, and Tuscola counties. I think Tuscola County is this one down here near Akron, actually, which doesn't really need to be tornado warned in my opinion. But this one definitely is worth putting a warning out. It's probably not going to last the full duration. They did it as a 30-minute warning. It might last that long. It may not. Oh my goodness. I just can't hold on to nothing. CJ in the chat, Florida Man Weather, another one of our affiliates. How you doing, CJ? I think everything's going pretty good. There was a big tornado earlier, CJ. I don't know if you saw on my Twitter or saw on the broadcast earlier if you happened to tune in, but we did have this large tornado from Allen with Midwest Weather. So that was great work from him there. And now things are starting to die down a little bit. So we're probably going to be ending the broadcast somewhat soon. What in the world is this polygon? Are we serious? What is this polygon? What are we doing? What is this? I don't know what we're doing here. Um, the good news is that this is a deservedly tornado warned cell, and they are continuing to tornado warn it. That is the good news. I don't know what I'm looking at aesthetically with that polygon. That is one of the most bizarre polygons I've seen. I saw one in Minnesota, I think last year, that was just so bizarre. I can't even begin to describe it, the shape. It was a similar situation to this. Yeah, we're probably going to go ahead and I think we're going to go ahead and end the broadcast here. Actually, we did get one more. No, we didn't. Sorry. Same one. QLCS one I was just looking at. We're probably going to go ahead and cut the broadcast here. I do appreciate everybody tuning in tonight and choosing Will Bratton WX as your choice for trusted, degreed, scientific-based severe weather coverage. We're going to be out in the field tomorrow, so or at least we probably will be. So probably no broadcast tomorrow night if I'm out chasing. If I opt to not go chase tomorrow night, then we will absolutely have a broadcast. So keep that in mind. We will be having another forecast video coming out tomorrow morning, which is going to cover tomorrow's severe weather, which is looking pretty significant tomorrow night. And we're also going to cover Friday's severe weather as well, as there will not be a forecast video on Friday. And then we'll probably pick back up where we left off again on Saturday, as things are in a pretty active stretch right now. So again, I just wanted to thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure that you are subscribed to us on all platforms, or following us on all platforms, and subscribe to us here on YouTube so that you don't miss anything. Turn those notifications on, and we will see you tomorrow morning for tomorrow morning's forecast. And we'll see you either tomorrow night or in the not so distant future for our next broadcast. Thank you again for tuning in, and have a great rest of your night. Stay safe out there.